Technology Thursday. I'm David Sponheim, and we are ready to go. As you know, we do this show without fail every day, and I want to give you a brief synopsis of what we're all about. If you haven't seen our leader, you can see that we are about everything the two parties do not cover. And I'm going to play this for you so you can get right into the meat and potatoes of what this third party is all about. Something I think you'll like. Let's begin the revolution. All right, welcome to the show. We are all about the things that we normally can't talk about. Now, somebody said last night, David, you better drop this chemtrail thing. No one thinks you're sane. And I've got news for you, folks. Chemtrails are real. They really are being sprayed all over. In fact, the Democrats even talk about how we should do that. It's a good idea, stratospheric aerosol injection. So don't kid yourself. We're taking on the chemtrail issue big time with this third party. I'm not going to sit back and lead a nation of people that are being dumbed down with chemicals that are being dumped on their heads. And unlike Greta, I'm willing to talk about that. Unlike her, she's not even willing to talk about air filtration as a key to new technology. Expect green, clean technologies in the future with me as your president. We'll be seeing innovations that'll help purify your water in your home, as well as create fresh water for cities that are drying out, like Vegas and Flagstaff. Phoenix. Greta is no longer an issue in my mind because she herself has said that she doesn't want to, participate in this anymore. She's very unhappy. So of all the people to put out there as the person of the year, Time Magazine has made the biggest mistake of their life. They didn't mention anybody in the protests in Hong Kong. All the leaders there that are fighting for the rights of the Hong Kong people against tyrannical rule by mainland China. Didn't mention anything about the fact that this girl never mentions any way to clean the air or the water, calls them failed technologies. We haven't even begun the process of cleaning the air and the water. This woman is a sidetrack, a distraction, a very simple tool that was used very much like the Hitler use of various young blonde girls with long braids to control our mindset, to make us think that somehow something has to be done. Hitler used the same techniques back in the 1930s. Well, she's not coming with any solutions. That's the problem. And I've got nothing but solutions. We've got solutions that will clean the air through vortex filters that will be positioned in large mountain ranges. We've got solutions that will be in your car that you can plug into a USB port or to a cigarette lighter. These are technologies that will be coming that will filter your air when you're in traffic. You don't need to breathe that stuff. That's the most important thing. And most of all, we're going to stop the endless spraying of chemtrails above us, in the skies above us. We cannot put up with this. Right. All right, so we've got people all around the country watching. Let's take a look at the news. We've got people around the world watching us, and I appreciate your viewership. We've got requests for Larry Sinclair. Okay, let's go to Larry Sinclair first, the man who claimed he had sex with with Barack Obama in 1999 in a limousine. Here we go. Let's get this out of the way. We got a certain person that's very OCD, has to see this.
where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois.
You're listening to virtual interactive chat like you've never heard before. We are discussing issues from both sides of the political spectrum every night. Join us as we take on the two-party system.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and take on the two-party system every night. But first we have to get to the news. Apparently the big news is all about Boris Johnson winning in the UK election. Apparently people around the world are liking this guy because he's a very big blowhard and he likes to mouth off. They think that that's a recipe for success because somehow America is successful with a president that blows his mouth off all the time. I don't know. It's almost like the Boris Johnson thing is riding the wave of Donald Trump, in my opinion. But I don't like Donald Trump, and the country is split and divided over him in every way. Mark Levin calls Trump the first Jewish president. He's upset Jewish leaders around the globe by claiming that Israel, or rather Judaism, is a nationality. Do you want to talk about Larry Sinclair as well? I mean, I thought it was enough that you got to see him. You want to have a discussion about him now? Seriously? You want to interrupt the show and talk about Larry Sinclair? Do you realize that's the most inappropriate behavior you can be involved in? You have been removed from the show. Wow. Can you believe that guy? Okay, let's get to one show after another. We got 5 links stacked ahead, Max. Let's just get to the first one, okay? Oy vey. My goodness. Donald Trump, the first Jewish president.
On Wednesday signed an executive order intended to combat anti-Semitism on college campuses that has triggered
I always say what I mean.
And free speech advocates. The president signed the order at a White House Hanukkah reception, using the celebration of the upcoming Jewish holiday to detail a crackdown on cases of anti-Semitism on college campuses, including certain protests against Israel. Quote, "This is a very powerful document that we're signing today," Trump said, noting the measure has nearly passed Congress in prior years.
Wow. It's too bad we got a president now that's overzealous about our relationship with our ally Israel. We never wanted to go this far as a nation. When we do all of their bidding, we're involved in 2 wars overseas to protect the region. And now people are wondering, why is this still going on? What's happening? We are under attack. We're going to purge that statement until later. Okay, well, that's an inappropriate behavior for the show. We're talking about politics. Let's go to Joe Biden and what he just said. Let's take a look at this. Another gaffe from Joe Biden.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
So poor kids are just as talented as white kids. Wow, so that means poor kids are all black? That's really a bizarre statement. Yeah, so we've got all that in the lineup tonight on our video segment. I'll add that to our number 1 item. Thank you for that. And what else do we have? Oh, yeah, Boston Marathon attack. Yeah, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. At the appeal hearing, the 3-judge panel questioned why potential members of the Boston-based jury were not posed content questions about their understanding of the case to detect bias created by the enormous publicity surrounding the bombings. The U.S. Court of Appeals Judge William J. Cayetta Jr. led the sharp questioning. You got lots of qualifiable jurors in Boston. Your own data show it, he told one of the government's prosecutors. You just need to make sure that the government does not cause the court to pick the wrong ones. But that's what it's sounding like you did. Cayetta later questioned how the lower court, at the government's objection, didn't allow the defense to ask certain questions of potential jurors. It's just very puzzling, he said. You have a defendant who is clearly guilty of this heinous crime, and you then stretched and you then stretched and don't try to follow the rules. I disagree with that statement too. There's nothing absolutely incriminating about this guy. He was with his brother. He fled, was injured, almost mortally injured, hid in a boat. He was approached by the FBI 2 years prior, which is suspicious in and of itself. His mother claimed that they had been bothered by the FBI for months prior to the Boston Marathon attack. He's seen on camera carrying a backpack that did not resemble the one that detonated into the region. And he was seen on camera carrying the same backpack out. Yet they claim that he's the one that somehow detonated the bomb that allegedly killed all the people. He got the death penalty, folks. He's on appeal. I hope that this appeals court judge suspends the death penalty at the very least. I think he got ramrodded. Judy Clark was supposed to represent him. Remember, she covered Jared Lee Loughner and prevented him from getting the death penalty? She wasn't able to prevent Tsarnaev from getting the death penalty. It looks more and more like false flaggery when you look at all the photographs and films of that event. You have to study them in detail. There were people there that were almost paramilitary in SUVs that seemed to be talking on cell phones during the event, and no one can explain what their presence was there for. There's a lot of evidence in that whole stream of information that looks like a slam dunk for the prosecutor without looking at the details. So I think the devil is in the details. I think we should give him another chance. I do. 4 out of 5 women don't shower every day. A new study came out. This isn't really technology related, but it's kind of a cool picture. Totally not revealing. Survey finds 2/3 can't be bothered removing makeup before they go to bed, and 1 1/8 don't brush their teeth. That's because women are working their tail off trying to support everybody in their family. Women are far more active in working jobs than men right now. Sarah works. I retired when I was 50 years old. I do this show instead. So, yeah, let's take a look at what you got there. Robot news. You can soon buy a sex robot equipped with artificial intelligence for about $20,000. Well, I mean, guys, you're taking your fantasies to a whole nother level.
Okay, I've been doing this for a long time, and this is by far the weirdest assignment I've ever had.
Harmony, the world's first sex robot who, without...
Okay, we'll have to take a look at Harmony, and is that Katie Couric of ABC News? Wow. Well, that'll be a fun thing to watch for some of you MGTOWs that'll never find a woman because you hate women so much. Yeah, there's hope for you, a robot girlfriend. Good for you. You go, dude. The MGTOW movement is the men who've gone their own way. So now they're turning to females who are robotic in nature. I'm not independently rich. No. I just don't use money very much. Yeah, that's because I have a very minimal lifestyle. Hey, you can confront Jeff who? Nikki? Who? Okay, Jeff, why are we worried about him right now, Nikki? Okay, let's take a look at what you're saying, Nikki. Hold on just a second, Max. We'll get to your statements. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. You talking about an actor? Jesus, Dave. Yeah, the guy who allegedly got his leg cut off. Well, if you want to go ahead and get Jeff Bauman on the phone, we'll ask him why his leg had a turkey bone sticking out of it, and he was an amputee from Afghanistan. Yeah, I want to know more about that. Thanks, Willie Copperpot. Yeah, don't confront anybody. No, don't bother Jeff Bauman. No. I don't in any way encourage you to bother him. I don't care if you know anything about him. Leave him alone. He was paid very well as a crisis actor, and there's no reason why he should be disturbed. And he signed a confidentiality agreement. He can't talk to you at all. Yeah, once they sign a confidentiality agreement, they go to Leavenworth if they tell you anything other than what the the word that the government tells him to tell you. Yeah, they have to do that. He was an actor who was crippled before the Boston Marathon attack. That's why I'm saying there's no need to confirm it. We already know. You don't have to ask him. He won't tell you the truth anyway. It's like asking Christine Lenoinen, hi, were you in 5 media events involving shootings in the past 3 years? And she'll say, hi, yeah, I was. And then she'll answer, I'm required to say these things. She's required by law to verify that, everything she said is true. Otherwise, she'll go to jail. They sign these agreements, man. I don't blame her for what has happened. Christine Lenoinen was looking for work at one time, and she reached out, found a nice group of people at, I guess, the government, and they gave her a job. It's really the government's problem that they're pushing false flags on us, and we, the people, have to stop this. What's going on waits, Pitoro. Yeah, I'm so sorry. You'll have to wait. What's going on is not happening right now. Yeah, we just featured a homosexual man who had oral sex with Barack Obama in a limousine. Bringing up some brain-dead idiot who makes $14 million saying nothing on YouTube is really not high on our priority list right now. Yeah, you should know that. Well, let's be clear. Christina Lenoinen lost her son at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida.
Hi, I'd like to be on Wheel of Fortune. I think I'd be a great contestant because I'm a lot of fun and other people would enjoy watching me win or solve or try to solve all the puzzles. I live in Central Florida. I have 2 kittens called Mickey and Minnie. But
it takes about 5 minutes for a church bell to ring 49 times. I know this because last month, my son Christopher, his boyfriend Juan, and 47 others were murdered at a club in Orlando.
You see how popular those crisis actors are? And then she's been in 4 others besides that. So she gets a lot of work as a crisis actress. I am not Jim Carrey. If I were Jim Carrey, I would have a different nose. I'm sure Jim Carrey could have a face just like me. It is illegal to harass people. Yeah. And I'm not encouraging you to do that. Okay? Don't harass this person. We already know he's faking it. Just like we know Christine Lenoinen is faking it. How many times do I have to explain to you? We know. It's not a big deal. They can't tell you the truth. Because you can't handle the truth. Now here's Jim Carrey, who's a couple of years younger than me, ironically. Boy, he's really aged. Yeah, there's something really going on in his head, I think. It's just weird. It's like, look at that. I don't look a bit like this guy. Come on. I mean, he said he doesn't exist anymore. And if he says he doesn't exist anymore, he means it. Now, do I have to talk out of my butt to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about? This is not some pet detective show, you know. He's unfortunately too funny, whereas I'm not funny enough. Yeah. He made a big career, and now he's working for the Illuminati, so he can't talk about that stuff. You can't, no. No, don't confront any of these fakers, Nikki. We already know they're faking. Yeah, I'm not faking the idea that I am in no way Jim Carrey, okay? I don't even look like the guy. It's pretty obvious that you're just making all this up, okay? Yeah, if I were Jim Carrey, I would have had to have a nose job, which is not too expensive, about 15 grand. And have spent a lot of time doing oil painting and came out being me in 2008. I'm afraid that just doesn't go with the timeline. When you look at my ascent to debut in 2008, this was David Sponheim, and this is who I am today.
Hi, good morning. As you can see, I'm still wearing the shirt I wore last night and yesterday at Blog TV. It's exhilarating to do Blog TV. We've been having an incredible time. This is, in fact, day 54.
See, the same face? That's who I am. I'm not Jim Carrey, dude. Yeah, I'm still David Sponheim. There are no Kem Poos. You're thinking of a Kung Fu. It's a type of martial arts. I'm not very happy about the video. It's sad, really, that I was so tired and old at the time. Now I've reversed my aging process and I feel so much younger. I love it, yeah. Good music for a break later. Tom Jones and Janis Joplin, Raise Your Hand. This is the Tom Jones TV show. Wow. I love it. With Janis Joplin, that'll be awesome tonight. Thank you. I'll put that in my lineup, leading the video hour. We've got a gathering of the Trump family, a dynasty of nepotism and favoritism. Here they are. This is a rare glimpse at who these people really are and what they're all about. Donald Trump Jr. is about killing animals. There's evidence that he may have met one of the country's leaders of an animal, a rare animal he killed. Donald Trump Jr. likes to kill animals. Ivanka claimed H.R. McMaster said she's a total idiot. Melania, who Donald Trump calls it. Yeah. Eric and his wife. There is Jared Kushner. But there's something wrong here. Joe Biden is in the picture touching this woman on the corner here. Do you see this? How the heck did Joe get in that picture? This is unheard of. Joe went in there just to grab, that's his youngest daughter, Trump's youngest daughter, to grab her by the arm. Okay, I don't know if that's real or not. That looks photoshopped. Well, let's be clear. Hey, speaking of perversion, talk about perverts or alleged perverts. We've got a situation on our hands. Harvey Weinstein. These people try to protect Harvey. Here's what they have to say about themselves now. He's been tried and he had an out-of-court settlement of $25 million he has to pay out to put the last court case to rest. But there's 47 other women that alleged they were raped by him. So this guy may be in court for the rest of his life. Yeah, look at that. In 2017, investigations uncovered numerous allegations of sexual assault against legendary producer Harvey Weinstein. Since then, the details of Weinstein's powerful social and legal network have been revealed by the same reporters. Some Hollywood heavyweights sounded off at the case, and key figures who were closest to Weinstein in the fallout of the investigations fought hard to push back on the reports. Lisa Bloom has commented. She was the most surprising member of Weinstein's defense. Attorney David Bose. All these people are coming to his defense. Attorney Gloria Allred has a long-time reputation of one of the most vocal crusaders against sexual harassment. She said revealed her key role in the network around the Weinstein case that silenced at least one accuser with overwhelmingly common legal and financial arrangements. Huh. Hillary's publicist Nick Merrill is involved. But the list goes on, and I really don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Some people just want to buy a sex robot.
This is by far the weirdest assignment I've ever had. Hi.
Hi,
How
welcome
are
to
you?
Real Doll.
Hi, I'm Katie.
In this nondescript building, I have an appointment with Harmony, the world's first sex robot who...
Okay, I've seen enough. I have an appointment with Harmony. So we have that in the lineup tonight, but let me get back to the other issue that was at hand. Harvey Weinstein. Here he is, walking with a walker to his last court hearing. Are you faking your injury, Mr. Weinstein?
But not everyone's buying it.
Mr. Weinstein, are you faking your injury for sympathy?
Many observers are comparing his appearance to that of Bill Cosby.
Yeah, so Inside Edition has discovered that Harvey was in a car accident and he hurt his back. He's going to have back surgery. So I know you shouldn't feel sorry for a guy alleged have raped women, but you know. And finally, we have this to look at from the pre-show. It's let the truth be known. George Soros is related to Adam Schiff. He's like a little Adam Schiff. His Robert Soros, son of George Soros, married Adam Schiff's sister, Melissa Schiff. Seriously. And Trump never even talked about this. Not one tweet did he mention it, because Trump is really good friends with George Soros. I hope all of you retardicans believe otherwise, but many of you Trump-tardicans have to understand that Donald Trump has always apologized for George Soros or always defended him. He's a good friend of George Soros. That's why he's not bringing up the Adam Schiff connection. Yeah, you saw Jeff Bauman in a wheelchair before the so-called bombing. Nikki, could I put you in the lineup of people that will be testifying in a reveal? I'm going to be pursuing a grand jury investigation when I become president into all of these alleged shootings. And believe me, the bombing of Boston Marathon is high on the list. You know what happened the day the bombing occurred, Nikki? The day the bombing occurred, the Boston Marathon bombing allegedly occurred, that day actually was the day that a big news item appeared in the New York Times. It would have taken front page center, but instead the Boston Marathon shooting or attack, that took front row center. The article said that Barack Obama had conducted as many tortures and rendition as George W. Bush. And no Democrats wanted to hear that. That was the story that was eclipsed by this incredible story of the Boston Marathon attack. You're saying that I look like Rick Moranis now? I was just accused of looking like Jim Carrey. Now you're saying I look like Rick Moranis. Now that's a stretch, dude. I don't look a bit like this guy. None of their noses matches mine. I'm not Jewish like Jim Carrey and Rick Moranis. I'm not Jewish. So I don't know why you have me confused with these people. It's hard for me to morph into his mouth, but hey, Dave, I'm not doing stand-up anymore. You want to join me on stage? No, I don't. How dare you? I'm not Jewish, so yeah, I'm German, Norwegian, English, and Romanian. I can tell you, Nikki, you're going to be one of the first people we'll subpoena. You don't mind going to the courts when we do subpoena you, right? You'll testify. Can we get your assurance, Nikki, that you'll testify in the Bauman case? Say yes. Loper, that's very anti-Semitic. We do not allow that here. What do you got? Hang on, we got somebody called the wall. Let me close down audio. No, we don't take any English links here. I'm so sorry. Yeah, the reason why I have to shut down audio every time I take a link of a live video, and that JPEG didn't come in, Hot Rails. So please, Mr. David wants to testify. Will you testify that you're working for the CIA, please, Mr. David? You will testify, Nikki. Okay. You saw Jeff Bowman in a wheelchair at the Costco in Nashua, New Hampshire 30 minutes before the Boston happened. I believe you, okay? I believe you. We don't have that link, Hot Rails. Stop posting something we can't get. Go to a tiny URL and get something and come back 5 minutes from now. You actually don't understand where you work? Okay, please, Mr. David is a person who came into my show a couple months ago, or about a month and a half ago. Said he was from Cameroon, and he said his job was to attack our show. And now I win a lot of trolls over and attackers over. They like our show, ironically. And please, Mr. David is a guy that I outed, and I said, are you in a certain area? And he says, oh, I'm in Cameroon. And so somebody came in and checked his IP, and it turns out his IP was from McLean, Virginia, where the CIA headquarters is located. It's like, wait a second. So somebody says your ID is coming from McLean, Virginia, not Cameroon, and He said, but they told me I was from Cameroon. And that's a quote. But they told me he was from Cameroon. How can anyone think they're from Cameroon unless there's some sort of a clone? I have chemtrail facts. Good to know. I've turned a lot of trolls.
Contrails are an effective water and air.
Yeah, we know that's the good story. We'll get this chemtrails versus contrails. Uh-oh. We'll play this for a little bit. Yeah. Let me play it for you right now while I turn the oven off. I'll be right back.
The Board of Supervisors, the county's governing body, employed one of the nation's highest authorities on industrial development, the Urban Land Institute, to outline exactly what needs to be done to make the area even more attractive to industry.
You can turn back now, or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Here are the facts. Look at the sky over any modern city. Chances are you'll see line-shaped clouds mixed with the normal cloud cover. These are called contrails. When jets fly through the air, they leave trails of water vapor in their wake. This vapor dissipates a few minutes after the jet passes. The government claims these clouds are a harmless result of engine exhaust. I'm no meteorologist. When I hear about the weather, I take the experts at their word. However, some sources reject this explanation.
Yeah, and those sources are all over the internet. People are really concerned that we're not being hit with contrails, condensed air. We're being hit with chemicals that linger in the sky and interact. Okay, more on Biden. Okay, Hunter, his crack Biden. Let's take a look. Hunter crack, what? That's a good video for later. I'll play it. Okay, we got a Hunter Biden story about crack. Wait a second. Let's just take a quick look at this.
To Joe Biden as the center of the proposed investigation and replaces it with the true topic of the investigation, Burisma and Hunter Biden. An essential element of the Democrats' case on abuse of power is that the Bidens did nothing wrong. It can only be an abuse of power and not a correct use of power if the president was pursuing something under which there was no reasonable basis to ask a question about Hunter Biden and Burisma. Hunter Biden.
So this is an ongoing thing about Hunter Biden and his involvement with Burisma. Did Joe Biden fire the prosecutor in Ukraine by threatening to hold back $1 billion to the Ukrainian government, much like what they're accusing Trump of doing, quid pro quo? It looks more like Hunter Biden tried to fire the guy who wasn't doing his job stopping corruption. Quite the opposite of pursuing Burisma or any other government agency. Or any other oil operation. The fact that Hunter was working for Burisma at the time, he was not under investigation. He was not being pursued by the prosecutor. So the Republicans' argument is a fallow argument to say that Biden did a quid pro quo himself. It's different than what Trump did, because Trump wanted dirt on his opponent. The Republicans are saying they wanted to stop a prosecution of Hunter Biden. There was no prosecution of Hunter Biden. Nothing was going on. Oh, if the guy confessed to actually doing a deal on live TV, then let's bring that up in the court hearing and let's get to that truth. But I want to reveal the truth about Hunter Biden, too. I don't think Biden is being honest when he said he had nothing to do with the hiring of his son. That looks very fishy. And I think Nancy Pelosi has a son named Paul working for a Ukrainian oil operation. She doesn't want to get close and personal about that. But you know what's interesting? The Republicans are not seeking any witnesses, and they don't want any kind of rebuttal during the trial stage. The Senate's already said they're not going to have any witnesses. So that shows me that they don't really want anything to pop up, meaning they're trying to obstruct justice. The Senate just wants a quick decision with no discussion of the justice involved. It's like they're afraid to have witnesses because it would reveal all kinds of corruption in both the Republican and the Democratic ranks. We are not allowed to post things in here from the UK, sir. Michelle Obama is going to be the Democratic nominee for 2020. It could happen. Hillary could get back in the race too. It doesn't look like there's a... Wait a second. Trump campaign posts bizarre photo edit of Trump on the face of Greta Thunberg's body. So ridiculous. Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old... And then they're morphing Trump's face onto Greta's body. Chilling and watching a good old... Why is Trump attacking Greta, you know? Well, for good reason, but not for the reasons I'm attacking Greta. He doesn't talk about how Greta doesn't discuss chemtrails. He doesn't mention anything about Greta being a George Soros puppet. He just attacks her in a general principle because she supports concern about the environment. Greta, he's calling a brat. She was labeled a brat by Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro has said she's a brat, which is not unheard of.
How dare you? People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing.
Okay, we have more information on the Joe Biden connection and quid pro quo that he did. Let's take a look at that from their perspective. And I'm not trying to shut you Republicans down when you're trying to expose Biden's corruption. I'm all over that. I appreciate your efforts. I really do. But you're forgetting you're one-sided, and you think Trump did nothing wrong. While you're accusing Biden of doing all these terrible things, you're also saying Trump is vindicated. There was no quid pro quo, but I need a favor. Okay. You have your truth. Let's listen to this one.
I just want to put one other issue on the floor before I get another question or two, which is Ukraine. This administration, unlike the administration you worked in, decided to provide limited defense articles to Ukraine. Do you think that was a wise decision? And more broadly, do you see any scope for any sort of a deal on eastern Ukraine?
The answer is yes, I think it was a wise decision. But then again, I was pushing that for 2 years before we left. So, and the reason is I think the more you up the ante, the cost to Russia for their aggression. I mean, as you all know, and you know this better than anybody, you know, the one big lie going on about Ukraine back in the rest of Russia is that no Russian soldiers are engaged, they're not dying, no body bags are coming home, etc., because there's overwhelming opposition on the part of the body politic in Russia for engagement in Ukraine in a military sense. Do I think I think the Donbass has potential to be able to be solved, but it takes two things. One of those things is missing now, and that is I'm desperately concerned about the backsliding on the part of Kyiv in terms of corruption. They made, I mean, I'll give you...
Okay, now he's prefacing his statement that he's concerned about the backsliding they made on corruption. So when he said he was holding $1 billion in holding it back before they get rid of that prosecutor, he was talking about them being tougher on corruption. You Republicans continue to say he's getting rid of the prosecutor who was attacking or investigating Burisma. Well, let's take a look at what you have here. Before we get to that story, let's just get to that, because that came in defense of your statement.
Giuliani had come under fire recently by House Democrats who were accusing Giuliani of digging up dirt on Biden to derail Biden's presidential dreams, a claim debunked in part 1 and 2 of our series. First stop, Budapest. We arrived at Safe House 1, a snow-covered hunting lodge in the woods beyond the Hungarian capital. There we met Yuri Lutsenko, the former Ukrainian prosecutor general. Lutsenko has had a controversial reputation, especially in light of what appeared to be a flip-flopping feud with Rudy Giuliani about whether he thought the Bidens committed any crimes. He says the Bidens have, but the media twisted his words. Lutsenko brought with him a stack of official communiques to demonstrate how Ambassador Yovanovitch perjured herself in Adam Schiff's inquiry. Lutsenko urged for the U.S. to open an investigation into what his prosecutor's office found to be a long line of money laundering tied to the Bidens. Target 2, Viktor Shokin, the former prosecutor general Biden is alleged to have fired. OAN offered to fly Shokin out to a location away from Kiev, but Shokin's health was not fit for travel due to what he says is an attempted poisoning. So we flew to Shokin in Kiev. A compound was secured just outside the Ukrainian capital. We traveled once again in caravans surrounded by security. Mr. Giuliani had not stepped foot in Ukraine for roughly 2 years, but as the witness list grew longer, the mayor decided he would enter the country with us to meet these witnesses in person. Shokin testified how President Poroshenko walked into his office and told him Ukraine wouldn't get $1 billion in U.S. loan guarantees unless Shokin stopped investigating Hunter Biden. This ended in Shokin losing his position as prosecutor general. Our next witness was a...
That's a complete reversal of what Joe Biden is saying. Now, you Republicans have a good, solid case here. If this is real or it's clever editing, one or the other, we can't hear this unless we hear this statement directly from him. So we need to actually broaden this investigation.
The member of Ukrainian parliament, Andrei Derkosh. Derkosh has opened up dozens of inquiries investigating the misappropriation of U.S. funds in Ukraine and how the U.S. embassy acted inappropriately in the process. Derkosh also showed us documents pertaining to 6 criminal cases in Ukraine involving the Bidens, contradicting the lemming media's claim that the Bidens are innocent of all crimes. Derkosh presented compelling documents and testimony debunking the saintly Biden's narrative. Inevitably...
Okay, so we are now listening to the Biden narrative.
I'll give you one concrete example. I was, not but it just happened to be, that was the assignment I got. I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. You got fired. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. You got fired. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
Okay. We are on Twitch TV. And let me get into the chat just for a second. Yeah, I'm not really tuned into Periscope, and I'm way into the show. So, yeah. What Biden just said did not implicate him in a quid pro quo regarding stopping a guy from prosecuting his son. That's internal information that, if it's true, does reveal that Joe Biden would be guilty of a quid pro quo illegally to get his son leniency. But I'm more than willing to accept that if it's true. I'm just saying. Now, but that doesn't vindicate Donald Trump or make 2 wrongs a right. Thank you for watching me on Periscope, everybody. I'm now watching your chat if you have anything to say. All right. And Twitch, same with you. And I'm going over to our, Sarah would be proud, I'm actually trying to get into our YouTube show as well. So let me do this. Sometimes I'm a little late on the cooking day. Today I made turkey lasagna, and it's sitting in the oven, congealing into its own little blend. You know, Nikki, if you go ahead and pursue this case, Jeff Bauman could sue you. I'm just telling you, I'm trying to protect the legal parameters by which you're trying to, get somebody to confess something. Yeah, and that's not the first case this has happened. So I'm trying to exercise restraint. Wait till I can help you. We're not going to go anywhere with any kind of confrontation with any of these crisis actors. Just saying. All right. Yeah, and according to Mr. Billis, Joe Biden got his brother a $1 billion contract to rebuild Afghanistan. I heard about that, yeah. And we know that Joe Biden got money from Burisma to get reelected or to get elected in 2016 as part of his presidential campaign. We know that. Yeah. So I'm not trying to make it seem like Joe Biden never did a damn thing wrong. I think they are a bunch of crooks. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the Democratic Party. I'm not happy. I just think that of all the people that could beat Trump, Biden is the only one. I don't think Buttigieg is going to be able to beat Trump. I don't think Warren can beat Trump. It's the concern I have about the long-term goal. We need a better person in the Democratic lineup than what we have. And Michelle wouldn't cut it either. There's too much dirt on Michelle and how she probably is a dude. Yeah. He worked in Costco in New Hampshire for years before the Boston bombing. I know. Well, Nikki, I'm trying to tell you, your statement's been made in the show. We've said that you've had an eyewitness account with Jeff Bowman before he was allegedly had his leg blown off, which it didn't happen because we know he's a crisis actor who had his leg blown off in Afghanistan. I don't think Michelle's hung like a horse. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, from what I gather, there's some sort of a thing floating between his legs, but that's not like massive. Yeah. You've never seen Norwegian Men, have you? Okay. Hey, wait a second. We've got Michelle here, and a very important thing to talk about. Let's go ahead and take that information to heart and play it for you right now. Hang on.
Oh, you look like just what I want, my man, woman, and half whatever look like.
Okay, let's take a look here. We are looking at a dance clip that was taken from a live show with the Ellen DeGeneres show. And we're looking at what appears to be something dangling between Michelle Obama's pants. Yeah. Two objects cylindrical in nature are making a sideways angle at about a 35-degree angle, swinging. And we're not sure what that is. Somebody said it's a microphone. It's not that big, but it's a microphone, a big microphone, possibly a tampon, a loose tampon. I don't believe it. It looks more like a penis. All right. Thanks for your concern. Now back to the... Okay. We're going to get into our YouTube chat here. I just have to pull it up. Hang on. Well, let's be clear. We're in the home. We're live. Okay. I'm in the home right now.
I said earlier today that the president of Ukraine was an actor and a politician. I wasn't saying anything bad about him.
Well, we're live.
A lot of actors are great.
We've got a live show going on here.
Politicians. I am a politician. But that's why he couldn't say that he was under any duress or any influence and that he felt like he was being pressured. He couldn't say that because he's in an inferior position. It's like a battered wife with her husband around who beat her up. He can't say to the police she can't say he beat me up because he's there, and when the police leave, he'll do it again. And so he was in a terrible position. I look forward to meeting him. I'm going to be in Ukraine in February, and I think he's going to do a wonderful job. And for some people over there that said Ukraine was the third worst in the world, it's like 120th in the rankings out of 180. Not good, but not the third worst. I yield back the balance of my time. God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Senator. We'll yield back to you in a second. Thank you. The Democrats are right in session. They're doing their job trying to get the nitty-gritty about Donald Trump. So just because Joe Biden may be guilty doesn't make Donald Trump innocent. That's my point. Well, let's be clear. Yeah, we have to ask ourselves, is this live or is this Memorex? Well, we've got centrist politics at its best here. And I'm giving you right people the chance to make it right instead of being wrong. And I appreciate that. Well, yeah, you're not only right, you're wrong. You're right-wing, wrong people. Now, just because Joe Biden may be corrupt, and you might be right about that, you're wrong about Trump. He has his fingers in the cookie jar, and we caught him red-handed. And the impeachment is going forward whether you like it or not. But chances are the Senate will just immediately shun this thing and not even talk about it. Magically, the Senate doesn't want to interview any witnesses. They dropped the concern about the whistleblower. They don't want anyone to testify, because if they did, that's right, he's a House of Representatives. Thank you. He's not a senator. Thanks, Nikki, for pointing that out. I could care less. The point I'm making is we're more likely to not hear any testimony in the Senate case because they're trying to cover up the whole thing. They don't want anyone to testify. They don't want Donald McGahn to testify. Trump has put a gag order on that. Said, you can't testify. No way. Donald McGahn already said in front of testimony that he saw Trump say 5 times, I want to fire Mueller. 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 That's enough to convince me that he wanted to fire Mueller, which is obstruction of justice and obstruction of Congress. Read my lips. You must find Donald Trump guilty. Plus, let's not forget, Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell are getting money from a Russian oligarch to get reelected. Do you Republicans and Republicards ever think of that? Dave, read that. Obama gave Iran billions of bucks. Hillary gave Russia uranium. We know that. Iran took Obama bucks. Why are you saying that Trump is innocent because the Democrats are guilty? Oh, come on. No, they're both corrupt, and that's my point. The two parties are both working with Russian oligarchs and AIPAC, trying to fund money through the Political Affairs Committee. I don't even know if that's legal. Hey, Scissor Fight, good evening. You got a link there? Okay, Boston Marathon Hoaxathon. PK is going to talk about Tsarnaev being on appeal right now. This looks good. What do you got? He's got 4 hours he's talking about it? Whoa, really? Got a 5-hour video of PK? Man, he just went off, didn't he? Well, good for him. Well, I'll play that tonight, I guess, portions of it. By the way, we saw that guy put a manifold on the VW, or no, on the actual Ford truck yesterday. That was amazing, all the work he put in. I fast-forwarded through a lot of it, but man, those automobile repair sites on YouTube are really interesting. The work that people put in. So PK goes into detail about the whole massacre. Yeah, well, I'm going to play that later tonight. That looks like a really good archive footage of PK. He's one of the guys that said that some of the stuff looks fake. Yeah, like Bauman. When I first saw the Boston Marathon attack video, Bauman's leg was stripped clean. It looked like a clear bone on it. It looked like some clean bone you'd get out of a biology lab. It was weird. And then later, I saw the same photograph. It was touched up with blood. That's really strange. It had photoshopped blood on that bone. Yeah, I saw it with my own eyes. It was clean blown. There was nothing on it, no blood. Yeah, I saw that with my own eyes, Johnny. Hey, racist guys, stop racism. What do I do? I mean, how do I stop it? Do I kick you out of the show? You're finding out how Elizabeth Warren makes money. Okay. Looks like a good one. Yeah, I don't trust her. She lies all the time. This is CNBC analyzing Warren's money chain.
The rich in the 2020 Democratic field.
But you recognize that, say, with business people, with Wall Street, you're a very polarizing figure.
Look, I get that there are a lot of folks who like having the power and the riches they have. They like being able to tweak their little pinky, and the United States government does just what they want. Don't call me the polarizing figure. They're the ones who want to say that their personal wealth, their power is more important.
Okay, that finally came in.
The senator hasn't done so badly herself. She is ranked among the top earners in the Democratic presidential field for the last few years. Last year, she and her husband, Harvard Law professor Bruce Mann, made about $850,000.
Wow.
In the 4 years before that, their incomes ranged between about $716,000 and $1.5 million. The haul puts them firmly in the top 1% of U.S. households.
Okay, top 1%er. Elizabeth Warren's not some socialist. She's a rich lying scumbag. Yeah. Hey, we've got a photograph here to do a facial match. Some people believe that I actually am in Congress in the articles of impeachment hearing. We have a person here that looks just like me. Let's see. There you go. Yeah, it does look like me, yeah. Age progression of 40 more years. That would be me in the 2035 election, maybe 2045 election. My fellow Americans, I'm losing my hair, but I can tell you, I'm not dead yet. I need a bowel movement. What do you mean? You're trying to prosecute our president? I'm not going to accept that. You can't tell me that. No way. Hey, do I need to lighten up a little bit? I think I'm a little bit too yellow here. Yeah, I don't want to be the orange guy like Trump. There we go. A little too intense, the coloring. You have several unreleased Gustman Druplik blackface. That's nice. I don't think Trump's going to be in the 2020 election when he resigns, because we'll find out from the tax returns that he's been on the take with Russia. Yeah, I don't need to see that Justin Trudeau applying blackface. We know he won a re-election. Nobody cares about blackface. That's all BS. The Democrats made a big deal about it because they're so butthurt that they lost a couple elections because they're so racist. You know, the Democrats didn't even pass the Civil Rights Act? Yeah. Okay, you want to see this link? I'm going to give it to you. Here it is. It's the link that we just got earlier of that Ukrainian official. This came from Medveral, the Ukrainian official that said that Joe Biden was being investigated. His son was being investigated. That's why he dropped it. You're a racist black man against black men? Okay. It's not the first time. I met a woman who was Jamaican American who hated African Americans. And I've never seen a more racist person in my life. I'm not kidding either. She hated African Americans. She said she was Jamaican American. So I just didn't know where she was going with that. We're not going to be leaving Vaughn anytime soon. Mark hasn't seen us violate his terms of service, so we're still there on the show. Why Hitler cut his mustache off before he had his gas scare? Okay. So he was afraid that his mustache would ignite? It's true, Hitler looked a lot different with that mustache. You're right. It kind of set his face off. That's weird. He looks a lot like me. That's strange. I'm afraid I can't look at this anymore. It's too weird and eerie. Okay. What it looked like, no, it did not fit in the mask. What are you talking about? I think we're done there, and we're done there, and we have one more thing we have to talk about. 47 seconds of Jeffrey Epstein, new reveal. Then I can take a break. Sarah won't be in at an early time because she's actually gone to a Christmas party. She's actually having fun. I said, you know, Sarah, I do the show every night. I can't join you. She said, would you like to go to the Christmas party? I know I can't. I've got a show to do.
exclusively learned that an unmarked stone crypt at a Jewish mausoleum is the likely final resting place of Jeffrey Epstein, the same place where his parents are entombed. A sudden police presence and increased security at the Star of David Cemetery of the Palm Beaches hinted at the high-profile arrival. An unmarked black minivan was also driving onto the property on a Saturday when it's usually closed for the Jewish Sabbath. The memorial plate of Epstein's parents has also been switched out for a blank white slab in an attempt to keep their location a secret. When DailyMail.com reached out to Epstein's brother Mark, who is the sole heir to the Epstein's $577 million fortune, about the location of the ashes, he replied, "It's a private family matter." DailyMail.com is
okay. Well, it's kind of strange because Mark Epstein, the one who inherited the $577 million of the alleged deceased Jeffrey Epstein, Mark was the only one to identify his body. So, what's that all about? Yeah. We saw Jeffrey Epstein 20 days after he allegedly died. And this is him, taken from a drone, published to the Rusty Shackelford website. It looks more and more like Jeffrey Epstein's alive. This was 20 days after he died. So I'm not thinking he's dead at all. I'm thinking that they said he didn't kill himself to make it look like a murder so they could take you off in a different direction. Really, the bottom line is he's still out there molesting little girls. I'm 100% positive that that's what's happening. And the reason why our government won't investigate is because he's too connected to investigate to intelligence. You see, Jeffrey Epstein has Mossad ties. And Donald Trump, he has ties to the Zionist movements in America. So this whole thing is sounding a little bit weird. I mean, Donald Trump protecting his friend Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump signing an executive order saying that all of Judaism is a nationality now. So all people of Israel are now Jewish? I don't think so. A lot of people would contest that. But here's what Mark Epstein signed off on. He said that this was his brother. It doesn't even have the same ear or the same nose. The only reason why Mark Epstein would have signed off saying that was his brother, because according to Michael Baden, no DNA tests were done on Jeffrey Epstein to confirm it was him. Only the testimony of Mark Epstein. The only reason why he would have done that is so he could collect money and take care of Jeffrey on some remote island like Little St. James Island, where he's probably living right now. In fact, if only we had Princess Cleo of the Psychic Friends Network, we could identify where Jeffrey is right now. She died, though. Remember Miss Cleo? She was famous for the Psychic Friends' ability to see things and predict things. She passed away a few years ago, but I think right now, if we could channel her and bring Miss Cleo back into the show. What do you say? Miss Cleo, we are tuning into your spirit world. We want to see a sign of any kind that Jeffrey Epstein's alive, and where is he living? Well, David, I do believe that Jeffrey is living on Little St. James Island, right near the one that he was stuck on. Thank you very much, Miss Cleo. We have confirmation now. Miss Cleo has verified from the grave that Jeffrey Epstein is in fact on Little St. James Island right now in an underground bunker diddling little girls. So let's get on this. What do you say? Yeah, Weinstein got off with $25 million settlement. He's probably driving a Honda. Really? You know that? I don't know, Johnny. Miss Cleo is a wonderful lady, and you are disrespecting her right now. Alright? Don't be messing around with Miss Cleo. She'll haunt you in the grave, brother. That's right. Show some respect. Now, I mean that sincerely. I had a lot of respect for Miss Cleo. She's probably the only person I could ever talk to through the Psychic Friends Network. Miss Cleo, how am I today? Oh, good. I feel much better. Thank you for consoling me. No, she was not racist. That's wrong. See what I mean about this show? You know, I mean, who in the world would turn on this show and say, Dave, you have no talent at all. No one wants to see you. They all want to, send you to the Netherlands, the Badlands. I never talk to myself. I always talk to a camera. It's difficult when I go into public because I have to carry a camera around with me when I'm talking. Excuse me, but I'm talking to myself right now. I don't like people to talk to themselves with, earphones and Bluetooth earphones. It's just so weird. It's like, is the whole world turning schizophrenic or something? And don't they know that those Bluetooth earphones, that technology has not been tested for long-term safety for your brain? I don't know. I think there could be problems. The radio frequency is so close to your head. Okay, I'm going to send you to purgatory, and you'll have to listen to more of this hearing right now
On the May 23rd meeting,
while I take a quick trip to the little boy's room.
End quote.
We're now tuning into the articles of impeachment live.
Corroborated. For example, Ambassador Taylor and Mr. Morrison both testified that during a September 7th phone call with Ambassador Sondland, President Trump said there was no quid pro quo, but that President Zelensky had to go to the microphone and announce investigations, kind of giving with one hand and taking away with the other. He had to dispute Ambassador Taylor's and Mr. Morrison's testimony about this conversation. There's also circumstantial evidence. There was no contemporaneous explanation given for the president's decision to withhold the military aid that had bipartisan support from Congress. That didn't come until after the articles of impeachment were filed. And the uniform consensus of the State Department, the Defense Department, and White House witnesses is that the aid should have been released. Given these facts, the only logical explanation, as Ambassador Sondland concluded, was that, like the White House meeting, the aid was being used to leverage pressure on President Zelensky. At the end of the day, the evidence is overwhelming and indisputable. President Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, pushed Ukraine to investigate his political rival and a debunked conspiracy theory. His efforts had nothing to do with U.S. policy and were taken on the president's behalf and with the president's knowledge. President Trump directed U.S. officials and President Zelensky himself to work with Mr. Giuliani. President Trump ordered that critical military aid for Ukraine be withheld. Ukrainian officials were informed the aid would not be released unless President Zelensky publicly announced an investigation. And President Trump refused to release the aid until his pressure campaign on the Ukraine was exposed. President Trump refused to arrange a meeting with President Zelensky, and President Trump's agents advised Ukrainian officials that the White House meeting would be scheduled only after President Zelensky committed to the investigations. President Trump ignored the anti-corruption talking points prepared for his calls. President Trump asked President Zelensky directly to investigate President Trump's chief political rival. And President Trump stonewalled Congress's investigation. I don't know what more you can ask for here. I mean, we've got admissions from the president, we've got corroboration from people he's appointed. The only thing you can do is stick your head in the sand if you're not willing to see what happened here. And with that, I would yield to my colleague from Florida.
Okay. I'm the colleague from Florida.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll be here to follow up with the yeah, I'm back. I'm here to follow up. I paused myself there. Yeah, had to take a momentary break because, like I said, Sarah's at a Christmas party having fun while I am toiling here over the chat room, which is my dedicated purpose in life. Hey, have you ever wondered why you can't counterfeit money, aside from the fact that it's a 25-year jail sentence guaranteed? Well, there's this pattern that it prints. Every printer does this. It's designed to stop counterfeiting.
Money. I love having it, but I hate not having it. So I came up with an often overlooked plan to make my own. There's only one problem. I can't copy money. No, I don't mean I can't like it's illegal to copy money. I mean I actually can't copy money on a photocopier or a scanner. Why? Well, like all my other financial problems, this one can be traced back to the stars. In 1996, a pattern known as the Orion constellation was added to banknotes in several countries all over the world. This series of 5 dots, resembling a constellation, are repeated across the bill. Software in modern photocopiers and scanners recognize the pattern and prevent the copy from happening. I should mention that trying to copy money is illegal, so don't try it. I certainly didn't. I'm not easily defeated, so I'll try dragging an image of money into Photoshop and then print it out. Nope. Software like Photoshop prohibits the opening of currency images. So it looks like I'm going to have to make money the old-fashioned way. Insurance fraud.
That's sick. White-collar crime is wrong, and how dare you? How dare you say that? Well, so now you know, folks, it's not just a 25-year prison sentence. It's actually impossible to do. So don't try it. You'll go to jail for a long time. People wonder why you got stuck away. Counterfeiting is a form of terrorism, I agree. I don't think you can find an older copying machine out there. They've all been junked by the U.S. government. All right, moving on. Don't even go there. I mean, you will literally spend your life in jail if you try to counterfeit. This is something about Adam Schiff being a person who packs fudge? I don't know.
Dad's home. Billy's dad is a fudge packer.
This is inappropriate, and nor does it inspire good feelings about homosexuals. Yeah, and I can see playing it in the after show, but during the show, we have a lot of people in here who are gay and don't like to refer to gay people as fudge packers. Okay? Wow. Dave, I have a story about my medical findings. I think it's ridiculous what they charge. They discovered brain cancer through your stool sample, and we zapped it. We also found herpes in your toes. Yeah, you're right, Johnny. I mean, the blood tests and stool samples that are out there will determine if you have cancer. That's so true, Johnny, and I think we should talk about that. Innovations and technologies that would save the nation. Blood screenings that would be automatic for a lot of people. Yeah, I am thinking. We don't want to talk about stuff like that this show. Yeah, but I'll play it in the after show because it's definitely worth watching. Yeah, I don't mind talking about it in the after show. All right, so how Elizabeth Warren makes money, yeah, that's going to be good news. Thanks for that great clip, Max. And Max, you put a request in for the cowbell because you were a little too stressed out from life. I see how that's going for you. Okay, cowbell it is. I mean, we try to deliver on cowbell whenever we can. I'd rather talk about other things that are technological in nature, though, but we could bring up the butt plug for the cows so that we eliminate greenhouse gas. That's something Greta never talks about, the gas coming out of small animals. Yeah. I don't know how she got time of the year without talking about flatulence. But yeah, let's talk about that. We did find an earlier picture of Joe Biden in his earliest manifestation as the creepy banjo boy. Remember that? From Deliverance. Great movie with the late Burt Reynolds. A lot of great stuff there. Here we are with Cowbell by request. Now, in case you didn't know, cows emit 48 gallons of flatulence a day, marking them as the #1 greenhouse gas producers in the world. This analysis was performed in Ecuador, and this poor animal had its intestines cut into. We would have a more modern technique to get rid of the flatulence that are coming out of these animals that we like to, get milk out of and eat as well. We've talked about a butt plug, a technology that would develop that would give us the ability to harvest that methane. So you're wearing sandals from your herpes toe injury? How did your toe get herpes? Can you explain that? Because it's very unusual for people to have herpes of the toe. Do you remember how it happened? You know, the volcano in New Zealand is actually outgassing less greenhouse gas right now. It's become more environmentally conscious. Volcanoes have learned to submit less greenhouse gas than normal in lieu of what Greta said. Okay. Men for all that is disgusting. You are absolutely disgusting. Where is your head going? I mean, are you that starved for sex that you have to talk about it in the show? That's sick. How dare you? Okay, let's stop talking about the cow flatulence, and obviously you're getting too excited. This is about the closest you've been to sex in a couple years, I can see that. Anyway, we want to talk about Joe. Joe's got another image here we have to look at. This is a very old picture, but it does give you an idea of what we're dealing with here. This is a candid picture of Joe Biden in the early days of his career. Visiting with a young lady, he was very fascinated by the stripes that she was wearing, and it's a candid picture that was taken. Nothing wrong with a little picture taking, you know. Nothing wrong with anything he was doing either. I don't think it's right for any of us to pass judgment here. We've got more to talk about with Donald Trump committing adultery with Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal, and not even mentioning it to his wife, who he calls Melania. Herpes came from you dropping at the truck stop down the block. I don't know what you're talking about, Johnny. You're making no sense at all. Discussing your herpes of your toe? Oh, that was Ashley Biden? Oh, I didn't know. Well, we want to talk about Ashley Biden's, the film that she made with her dad. Yeah. Apparently, Ashley's had a life full of weed and wild parties, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know, as long as she was safe and sane when she was doing it. And Ashley, if you want to come by and smoke a bowl anytime, give me a ring. Now, I'm kidding. It's a joke. But the decade before a friend came forward trying to sell a video that he claimed showed her snorting cocaine, Biden's daughter was busted for pot possession. Ashley Biden was a hot freshman that every guy wanted to be with, said Nat Berman, a Tulane University classmate who said he bailed Ashley out of jail after a '99 marijuana arrest in New Orleans. But there was no conviction ever recorded. She was very attractive. Everybody at Tulane knew that she was a party girl. She wore some pretty short shorts, too. Yeah, who was it? Uncle Lester, he said he went to school with her? Yeah, he actually knew that she was a party girl. A lot of people. So you're going to ring Joe Biden around the neck for admiring his daughter's dress and then having a daughter that smoked marijuana? Oh, wow. Let's all be hypocrites, okay? As if none of the Trump children did anything wrong. Have you ever bailed a friend out of jail? No. I have picked up friends that were in trouble from situations like that, but that's about it. UI, nothing to worry about. Uncle Lester was a guy we knew that he had knowledge of. I think he went to her class of same year. He graduated. Trump has openly said that his daughter has a great body. I mean, we don't make big deal about how Trump has this weird fascination with Ivanka's body, do we? So why are we picking on Joe this way? Thank you, Christmas. I have a good show. Thank you. Billy Redkin was the banjo boy. I know. It wasn't Joe Biden after all.
I'm Billy Redden, the banjo boy from the movie To Deliver. I'm 56 years old.
Well, it's magic. It's one of
56.
This guy is 56 years old. All right. I don't know, man. I'm 59 years old. So what's going on here? I guess he's just a different kind of guy. I'll definitely add that to the list tonight. Who doesn't want to see that guy in real life? Yeah, sure. Thanks, Tommy. He looks 90, yeah. Deliverance was awesome. Squeal like a pig. Yeah. Thank you for giving me Banjo Boy up close and personal. Now we go to Chernobyl and the mutants that are coming out of the spent fuel rod decayed.
On April 26, 1986, the worst nuclear accident occurred. Chernobyl.
There has been a nuclear accident in the Soviet Union, and the Soviets have admitted that it happened.
The most severe accident that has ever taken place.
Being born with mutations.
Whoa, that's like three-legged deer. Oh, wow. Four-legged deer. Okay, I'm beginning to see the point here, yeah. So we don't really want more Chernobyls and more Fukushimas, you know? It would be great if Japan would clean up Fukushima, but they haven't even bothered with anything. They built a refrigerator around it, but no luck. Ping Shing Chong here. Hello, Ping Shing. How are you? Coming from China, mainland China, Ping Shing Chong talking about his happy life. Let's read. Good evening, David. I hope for your comedy and wish you a Merry Christmas. My son has worked hard. His son's son is married. We will have 2 sons. Happy New Year. And they will all be workers for the National Socialist or Communist Party. Aren't you special, Ping Ching Chong? Thanks for coming in. He's very proud to be a father or grandfather in a terribly polluted country like China. Yeah. Aren't you glad you're living in America, folks? You don't have to live in the hellhole of China. They have turned that country into a cesspool of toxic waste just so that they can compete with us on a manufacturing level. Isn't that sad? Now that's just sad, see? Now see here. Let me entertain you. The answer is 69. What's the question? I will definitely play that video on Chernobyl. Yes, sir. I know. Trump and Trudeau hit it off at first, but not anymore. There's some friction there. The bromance is over. Yes. Are you seriously sending me pictures about picking up girls? I don't really think that that's appropriate for technology therapy.
Hey guys.
You need to focus on something a little less social. Yeah. We want technology links here, Max. This is not a technology link. This is Andrew Hales at Venice Beach picking up girls.
I'm Andrew Hales. We're at Venice Beach. We all know girls love douchebags, but
well, whatever. They use them as part of their way of, cleaning themselves out. But I don't want to get into the details. I'm next to a Naval Air Force base, not an Air Force base. Yeah, there's Navy Air Force in my area. There, it's surprisingly, my area does get hit with chemtrails, but the planes that fly above me that are tested for the Navy, they don't release chemtrails. That's higher up above. Homeless hookups. That would be a great TV show, wouldn't it? Homeless hookups. Everything is beautiful. I know. I mean, who wouldn't want to see 2 homeless people, getting it on without having washed the past 6 months? How sick can you be? How dare you? Many of you are really making me ill thinking about Greta. How dare you? How dare a person get Person of the Year when they have such a scowl on their face? There's some strange archiving in her face, too. Some people have been looking at her teeth in a lot of the photographs, and there's something weird going on with the Greta photographs. One woman talked last night about Greta possibly being a reptilian. I don't know. But when you look up close and personal at that video, it's kind of freaky. Her teeth morph.
My message is that we'll be watching.
We'll be watching you. Yeah, well, what's going on with her face is really the question. We'll be watching you.
Watching you.
We'll be watching you.
Eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Okay. I'm going to slow that down and see it, just take a look at what's going on with her teeth. I was lucky. I just wanted to see it for myself.
Fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Sorry, I was just trying to, look like her a little bit. We do look a lot alike. It's true. Well, she's like a female version of me in a way, Her face and my face are almost identical. That's why some people believe that I'm the time traveler, not her. I know, it's kind of shocking. And that I should deserve Person of the Year, not her, being I'm the one who's talking about chemtrails. But you can see the facial similarities between us, as evidenced by this picture right here. Let's see if I can show it to you. How dare you? How dare you be a... How dare you? How dare you? I'm working on my Greta impersonation. Thank you. I'm not that angry. No, I'm a very happy-go-lucky kind of person with a very cynical attitude sometimes. I'm not that angry, no. What do you got, Reptoid? More Satanism? Or are you bringing up some truth here? Israel gets $50 billion while America can't even afford to clean the water of Flint. Boy, that's a true statement. Thank you, Reptoid. People are still drinking polluted water or washing in polluted water in Flint, Michigan, but yet Israel gets $50 billion, awarded to them by Barack Obama. They gave the Israeli government, and now Trump does the same thing. He's not helping Flint, Michigan. Can you imagine having that water in your sink? My goodness, thank you. So I think that archive footage of her was not showing a reptilian. It was just really bad footage. It was not her being a reptilian at all. No, I don't think she's a reptilian. I think she's just a girl who's very troubled, who's being exploited by George Soros to push his global agenda of cap and trade legislation. We're not dead yet. We're still here. How dare you? You look like a Harry Potter character. You got an invitation to join a hookup at your retirement center? Men and women actually get it on in those facilities. Yeah, they actually have relations. You'd be surprised. I had a relative that lived in a retirement community, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I'm not going to say who it was, but I was offended. It was a relative of mine who said to her husband of 50 years, I don't need you. I can find any guy anywhere in this town, in this community. It's like, what? He's been with you for 50 years. I mean, what are you saying? You're going to go hook up with some guy you met at a bridge meeting down the street? I mean, it was shocking to me. She actually bragged about how she could find anybody at the Leisure World community. Yeah, I was like, is this a relative of mine? Really? I was shocked. I said, how dare you say that in front of your husband? This is the alluvial pattern that it represents water. And water filtration is a big important thing in my mind. I filter all my water. I triple filter it. I use a reverse osmosis filter because our water has got to have lots of total dissolved solids in it, and that's almost right. And it's not even enough. I still have like 25 parts per million of total dissolved solids before I filter a second time or a third time. So I have to really filter the heck out of it. I know. Well, I told her to enjoy herself. She doesn't have enough good times. So I'm happy for her. Well, that's your perspective, Reptoid. If you want to be a Satanist or an atheist, no one's holding you back, man. Montreal has 10 times more lead than Flint, Michigan. I did not see that story. Well, it doesn't surprise me because Flint, Michigan, or rather Montreal, is an old city and the pipes are old. That's right. I know, Amber. I know. Mother didn't come home tonight, so you're not getting fed on time. Ping Ching Chong has something else to say. We have a water shortage. We have a shortage of rice due to heavy rain and dense air, but we have good chicken, eggs, and dog food. So are you eating the dog food, Ping Ching? You had 2 days of vacation and worked hard for 2 weeks. I will have a holiday on the tree holiday. Well, good for you. So you had 2 days of vacation after working solid for 2 weeks. No days off. And you're eating chicken, eggs, and dog food. Your country's doing so well with your rice shortage. Didn't you know, Ping Ching, that our government gives $40 million of rice aid to China? Ask your regional leader and overseer of agriculture in the province that you're located in, whatever province that is. Ask them if they could give you some free rice from the U.S. government, because we give free rice, $40 million a year to the Chinese government, still to this day. I know that sounds bizarre, but we do. Ring ding dong. No, Ping Ching Chong. He's a guy who comes in our show. Yeah. See if you can get some of that $40 million in rice. That's a lot of rice we give for free to the Chinese government. You know why we give rice for free to the Chinese government to this day? I wish I knew. I don't know. It's part of like a goodwill gesture, because we see China, get this, as a third world nation. I mean, they're one of the biggest worldwide competitors to our economy, and we see them as a third world nation. I mean, isn't that bizarre? Yeah. Yeah. You got something on Tesla. All right. The new Apple Mac Pro computer can cost more than a Tesla Cybertruck. Is it worth it? You got to be kidding me. Really? Mac Pro computer is going to cost more than $39,000? Are you serious? Here's highlights from the upcoming event. All right. New streaming video service. Good to know. Include original video content produced by Apple. They're going to charge for this. Collaboration with several Hollywood icons. I wonder if they got a contract with Harvey Weinstein. Steven Spielberg's got stuff going on there. All content will be completely downloadable and available in more than 100 countries. Well, this is not, I'm not giving Apple a free advertising here. The new Apple Mac Pro hit the tech waves. The computer, which became available, is advertised at the base price of $5,999, but the total top configuration will actually set you back $52,000. Seriously? Nobody's going to pay $52,000 when they could buy a Tesla Cybertruck. I don't believe Matt Damon was the whistleblower. No, I think you're thinking of a movie, Joe. Matt Damon generally doesn't talk about politics. When he does, he reveals some pretty interesting things. The last time I didn't work hard was because we had a discussion now. But now I have a break. We have a dog dinner. Delicious and chicken with eggs. Don't you like eggs? I said David is 2 weeks old. You know, I don't know what you're saying, but I can tell you it's best not to eat dog food, Ping Ching. Yeah, you may want to stay away from dog food. It is placenta time, but it's in the other room. See, my whole schedule is all off because Sarah has to do the Christmas video. You want the what's going on video? At this point, I can't deliver it to you because I'm in the middle of accessing file. Currently, my operation is dedicated to the formation of this particular link. I'm trying to get something from Matt Damon. Do you mind? Accessing file. Yeah, apparently I don't have it. Matt Damon. Accessing file. Here it is.
I start from the supposition that the world is topsy-turvy, that things are all wrong, that the wrong people are in jail and the wrong people are out of jail, that the wrong people are in power and the wrong people are out of power, that the wealth is distributed in this country and the world in such a way as not simply to require small reform, but to require a drastic reallocation of wealth. I start from the supposition that we don't have to say too much about this because all we have to do is think about the state of the world today and realize that things are all upside down. Now, if you don't think, if you just listen to TV and read scholarly things, you actually begin to think that things are not so bad, or that just little things are wrong. But you have to get a little detached and then come back and look at the world, and you are horrified. So we have to start from that supposition that things are really topsy-turvy. And our topic is topsy-turvy, civil disobedience. Now, as soon as you say the topic is civil disobedience, you're saying our problem is civil disobedience. That is not our problem. Our problem is civil obedience. Our problem is the numbers of people all over the world who have obeyed the dictates of the leaders of their government and have gone to war. And millions have been killed because of this obedience. We recognize this for Nazi Germany. We know that the problem there was obedience, that the people obeyed Hitler. People obeyed. That was wrong. They should have challenged, and they should.
Well, we are challenging the Ashkenazis that took over Donald Trump's administration. Yeah, I like Matt Damon. I like his politics. I'm not going to deny that. Yeah. How much does Matt Damon get? I don't know. What is Matt Damon's net worth? Well, we can find that out instantaneously with the accessing ability available to us through the internet. The net worth is $170 million. Matt Damon. He's a fairly wealthy guy. Did he go through the divorce? I think he did. Yeah, everyone thought they were going to stay together, but I don't know. Well, the Nazis were not pleasant, and Matt Damon made a good point. We can't just sit back and ignore what's happening with Donald Trump and the Nazi takeover of our country. Yeah, many people are worried about that. That's why the Democratic Party is so vigilant trying to get this guy impeached. Boy, you're very talkative today, Ping Shing. What's going on? Are you not getting any nookie from your wife? I fear you, Mr. David. You're a good man. I have to pick up my son. He is 7 years old and second on the throne of factory directors. He works very hard. He brought great honor. Why do you fear me? I'm not going to hurt you, Ping Shing. I don't know, man. They say Matt may swing both ways. I don't know. I can't tell you. The Pope says happy 2020. Yes, thank you. The Pope is very here. Tell Pope Francis to enjoy his evening watching The Golden Girls. I know that's his favorite show. I know, and you'll wonder, how did you know, David, that he likes The Golden Girls? Well, I know things that you don't think I know. I've forgotten more than you'll ever learn. Well, let's be clear. No, that's not some kinky movie about women and the sex tape of Donald Trump. The Golden Girls was a popular show on TV. How dare you? The actresses, Betty White is still alive, ironically, but the rest are all dead. Or at least the core of the group, the first of the bunch. Here they were. Aren't they lovely ladies, though? Yeah. Marge. This is wrong. This is all wrong. You should be in school. So the Vatican is using donations for the poor to fight its budget deficit. I heard, ever since those Rothschilds stopped banking properly for the Vatican, they've been losing money in the interest-bearing markets. So now the Vatican had to actually draw from their donations for the poor to fight its budget deficit. Pope Francis has got a whole slew of things to deal with. The Holy See's deficit is in 2018 doubled to more than 76 million on a budget of about 333 million. So the church's donations have now been used to pay the interest on the debt. I believe that you should stop banking with the Rothschilds. You may want to consider another banking firm. They're giving you a bad deal, Pope Francis. I'd ask for a better term. The Medicis, the family, yes, they're connected. Yes, we're back to the story about women showering. 4 out of 5 women admit they don't shower every day, and third say they can go for 3 days without washing their body. I know, this is a shocking statistic that I don't want Howie to get a hold of that stat because he'll run with it. And another story about Nazism. This just keeps coming. We've had quite a day already. Nazi-tied Krispy Kreme owners pledge millions to the Holocaust survivors. Something weird about Krispy Kreme supporting the Holocaust survivors, but I'm glad they're giving them money. Is Donald Trump a Holocaust survivor? He seems like, the way he talks about Judaism, it seems like he's a Holocaust survivor. Was Donald Trump in the Holocaust? Does anybody know? Yes, Francisco's trying to do a great job. You're right. The wealthy German family behind Krispy Kreme and Panera Bread pledged $5.5 million to help Holocaust survivors Thursday after admitting its Nazi past. The billionaire Reimann family, which owns the Jab holding company conglomerate, will give the money over 3 years through its new humanitarian arm, the Alfred Landecker Foundation. Hopefully Alfred Landecker wasn't some weird Nazi soldier that tortured the poor Jewish people. Happy meatballs and merry spaghetti. Yeah. We got 3 choices coming up in the upcoming election. Number 1, David and the third party. Number 2, voting for freedom and the constitutional rights of every citizen. Okay. Number 3, bigger government control of your speech. I don't know. I mean, it seems like Donald Trump isn't representing freedom for average people. He's doing nothing to stop YouTube's violation of conservatives and having them shut down off YouTube shows. I'm going to get an ombudsman appointed to YouTube to make sure nobody has unrestricted banning going on. Trump has made no offers whatsoever. As far as bigger government, both Trump and Biden both represent bigger government, for sure. Oh, yeah. And a genuine desire to grope women. Yeah, both of them want to do that. Hey, and by the way, we got a couple of top issues here we have to discuss. Being the Republicans are being, grilled right now by the Judiciary Committee, I think it's only safe to ask the big questions that the Democrats don't seem to be able to ask. Why didn't anyone subpoena the IRS tax records of Donald Trump? I know Ways and Means should have had them by now, but they haven't. Justice Ginsburg just held up the reading of the returns. So why is Ruth Bader Ginsburg, stopping the reading of the returns? That makes no sense. And Trump never taped any conversations he had with Vladimir Putin. Doesn't that indicate he's guilty of something? Die Hard 1 was the best one that came out. I've got a cat in the other room that's screaming. So what I'm going to do is play a little something for you guys. Technology-wise, that might intrigue you. Yeah, this is a 1937 video about solar power.
Everything that moves upon the earth is actuated by the sun. Upon this scientific fact, Otto H. Moore at Concord, California, has based innumerable inventions that will revolutionize nearly every form of modern utility. Among the achievements of this man of action is this economical storage-type water heater. Cold water entering at the bottom of a series of copper tubes is heated by the sun's rays. Drawn off through a faucet at the top, the water has a temperature as high as 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Even on cloudy days, the violet rays of the sun maintain the process. By a method of heat absorption, the sun also operates this futuristic innovation in drinking water coolers. The device irradiates, purifies, and refrigerates. Thus, Mr. Moore has harnessed the heat of the sun to produce ideal drinking water the year round. This scientific magician attracts and holds the sun's rays throughout the day by use of a crystal ball mounted in a box he calls a solar generator tank. Once again, heat is made to produce its opposite by the development of the most economical refrigerator yet devised. Ice cubes from sunbeams in 2 hours. In still another type of generator, water is heated by solar rays. An unique method of vaporization, condensation, and absorption results in the remarkably inexpensive production of hydrogen gas of inestimable value for cooking, heating, and power, made from ordinary water. Otto H. Moore and other men of thoughtful purpose will someday free the world of needless toil. Their appreciative understanding and control of nature's forces will have earned for themselves and all mankind a better place in the sun.
So that was never built. It was never actually created. All these great ideas have always been suppressed. It's amazing to me how technology has been screaming ahead, and the people that make the money, that don't want us to save energy, that don't want us to generate solar panel solutions, they're imposing taxes like on China. Obama imposed a 31% tax on existing solar panel from China. Trump carried forth with that same tariff. And then there's a 250% tariff on new installations in solar out of China, which I think is really punitive, considering China's made every effort to make really good solar panels. We're doing nothing but suppressing this information. So clearly our government's got some major roots in financial desires to keep and suppress technology. So what we have is a solution. We have a way in which the government can kind of step back and let the free enterprise take over. I know, David, this country is going in the wrong place. I'm an immigrant from India, and I live here 22 years. I love America, but America's like India now. We need help here. I agree. That's true, Mutta. So when we look at how Congress deals with this, they have the chance and the right and the ability to make it so that patent law allows any patent to be licensed. Right now, companies can hire patent lawyers and suppress patents, buy them, not even license them out, and great ideas get shut down. That should not be allowed. We should always encourage good ideas, especially in the free marketplace, that could open up brand new technologies that could filter air and filter water and lots of things. This is not science fiction, folks.
Do you read me?
Do you read me, Hal?
Oh, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that. This is not science fiction. We've got absolute ideas like the nickel metal hydride battery that could have been used by ExxonMobil the past 10, 20 years to create permanent batteries that never break down. I'm sure they could put permanent batteries in cars, but instead they put lithium-ion batteries that break down. You see where I'm going with this? Here's a vertical wind axis. This could be put on buildings across the nation. This is something we can move on. These vertical wind turbines are built off the Savonius wind turbine idea, which is open source. It doesn't have a patent. It's Creative Commons. We could actually build these things. So there's nothing stopping us from doing certain things like that. Building vertical windmills and moving toward much more renewable solutions for our economy. But the will of the Congress is going to have to move in a direction that makes sense. We don't have that right now. We've got a very antiquated system that is just allowing people to buy patents and sitting on them. I'm looking at all kinds of great ideas. Like, here's an ionic smog-sucking vacuum that could have been put into use.
I was in Beijing on a 32nd floor.
Sorry, it's the wrong video. Yeah, different video. I thought it was a guy who sucked the air out of, turned it into blocks. Yeah, different. I have an idea to create a blimp pack that could go on top of all kinds of existing 707 or 727 fuselage or 747s. We could easily make travel across the globe a lot easier by simply adding existing fuselage to this blimp pack and putting areas inside where people could sleep and relax. Even a vape lounge could go in the back where you could actually, you know, hang out and smoke vape with your friends. Racist guy, that is an inappropriate thing to say in the show. Yeah. I'm not Trump bashing, no, Joe. I'm trying to be nice to Trump right now. Yeah, we try to avoid any anti-Semitism here. You should be in school. Well, the other night we did feature a man who converts plastic waste into oil. And what better way to take existing plastic waste that we have in our oceans and get it to be liquid oil? Yeah, holy crap, this guy turns plastic waste into oil. Watch this. We put the plastic in. This is plastic ingredients that we will make the oil. So he dumps in anything from the trash can. A good point of the small machine is you don't have to break down the trash. You put it in just as is. And then easy to understand that it turns into oil. Check it out. He turns it on, the temperature will begin to rise, begin to melt and become a liquid. Isn't this cool? It's like a pressure cooker for plastic. After the liquid boils, the gas passes through here and enters here. This is tap water. The water cools the gas. That turns the gas into oil. It's that simple. Yes. It's a surprisingly simple process of converting plastic waste back into the oil from whence it came. In it, this man takes plastic containers, bottles, and bags, shoves them all in a machine, and then presto, becomes diesel, kerosene, and gasoline. It looks so easy, it makes you wonder why we're not doing this all the time. Because right now, most people just who are in production and in industry just don't care about the end product. So we are concerned that these people who are, living in this dream world of industrial pollution are the ones that are trying to push little Greta Thunberg to push her agenda. It turns out they are. The very same people that are pushing this agenda are the ones that are the worst offenders, the worst polluters, and they want all of us to bear the burden in the form of taxation. Isn't that interesting? But getting back to the vape lounge, this could be like a place to meet in the back of the plane where you can vape, and all the air inside the plane will be filtered too. There won't be any bad breathing. All very fresh. The vape lounge could be like this part of the unit right here. It's like, dude, you mind if I hang out in the vape lounge? And then the rest of the vehicle could be like cargo or maybe sleepers. We could have lots of sleepers inside. Every unit could have a parachute too that would prevent it from actually crashing. More than one parachute. Or the entire exoskeleton could be a parachute that could open up, strapped to the main fuselage of the plane, it could just open up as a big, huge parachute the size of Safeco Field. That would be a good idea. Why haven't they put parachutes in planes? Anyone know? Because they're too damn cheap, that's why. It would cost roughly $50,000 to retrofit enough parachutes to slow a plane down to a safety point. Yeah. We have intellects in here, Joe. It's just not many people that talk about, you know, the things you talk about. You know, the things you talk about at Bada Bing. Greta Thunberg's agenda is not the planet's agenda. No, Greta represents the elite. The ones that polluted the worst to make all that money. Greta represents the people that made the money on the pollution. She wants us to be taxed to pay for their problems. That's why she never talks about chemtrails or air filtration or water filtration. Because she simply represents their agenda, Agenda 2030. Anyway, I'm here to represent the dystopian future that many of you are going to be facing. And I'm here to talk about that. We have a call from somebody. Let's take a look. Hold on, please, while I get the call. Hello. Yes, how can I help you, Larry? Oh, gosh. Trolls calling, yeah, waste of time. So yeah, why would Donald Trump not have any audio tapes or any type of transcripts of his calls with Zelensky or Putin or anybody else? Isn't that a sign of a guilty person right there? And remember when Donald Trump said, "Oh, I'll gladly show you all of my tax returns, no problem." Why are there no IRS tax returns? We got 1.5 billion viewers tonight. Thank you. Even Trump is watching the show. Hi, Donald. How are you? We know you're up to no good with the Russian oligarchs who are fronting your Deutsche Bank loan of $1 billion. We know that that's happening. Yeah, you can't hide it anymore. And we know the sex tape is real. Mueller said that you were used to blackmail you. You poor guy having to have your whole personal life ripped open like that. That's got to hurt. Of course, it was your fault for hanging out in the Moscow hotel room with 5 prostitutes urinating on each other. But hey, who's going to talk about that, right? Let's just put that to rest. Greta Thunberg's ties to high finance. We're not going to play your mute. This is not allowed here. You have got to clear your... Yeah, in fact, I don't even like you. The Swedish teen activist is sailing to a major New York climate conference to make a point about flying. Okay, she's sailing. This is an old story, man. This is August. She's already done this. Oh, but these are her... Oh, yeah. The Prince of Monaco gave her the yacht to go on and even took her for the trip. She didn't go herself. She didn't lift a finger on that sailboat trip. Other people did it for her. Paid staff. Oh, yeah, it wasn't like she did it by herself. We were led to believe that she was doing it by herself. She has contacts so big that they've got a BMW ambassador. Team Militia has of course got sponsors, but the trip was me to New York. There are no commercial sponsors. Oh, okay. They offered me a free ride because they support my cause. Oh, okay. Yeah, so she's been invited by renowned German skipper Boris Hermann, Pierre Casiraghi, the son of Monaco's Princess Caroline. Casiraghi represents a new BMW Roadster model the carmaker unveiled in May. Oh yeah, she's related. This yacht was owned by a German property tycoon, Gerhard Senft, who bought it from the Swiss-French finance group Edmond de Rothschild. Look at that. So Edmond de Rothschild sold the yacht to this German tycoon who let her go in it. She's totally controlled by big money. That's why they're pushing Agenda 2030 on us with this little girl with the pigtails. She is virtually the mouthpiece of the New World Order. That's true. We've heard other mouthpieces of the New World Order, like Barack Obama. Well, let's be clear. Michael and I were involved in a transgender love affair prior to my time in the U.S. Senate. So when we had to fake our children, we got my best friend and his wife to pretend that those were our children. Because as you know, transgenders can't give birth. I think the UK elections are an absolute scam. Absolutely scam. It's terrible. It is clearly obvious that Boris Johnson is the biggest blowhard the UK has ever seen, and therefore he has won yet again. They need somebody in the UK who can actually do something, not just BS people. How about this shit, David? The elites, like the royal family, are all, let's save the planet, yet they jet the world around hunting on World Wildlife Refuge. I know. Did you hear the World Wildlife Fund is a scam? The World Wildlife Fund, they say, is supported by the Rothschilds as a way of preserving the game so that they can shoot the animals themselves. Is that not the funniest thing ever? Do you believe in aliens? At this point, I'm moving in the direction of believing in aliens when I saw a couple of weird photographs of Nancy Pelosi looking like a reptile. But I still don't believe in aliens per se. Yeah, I believe that it's possible, but I'd have to really meet one up close and personal to have that aha moment. It's like, whoa. You know, when you realize there's something going on here and it's just not right, and you keep taking your sunglasses off, and no matter what happens, you're in a state of awe whenever you see this. It's like, dude, really? For sure. I'm trying to line up with this guy's face. No, Bigfoot has not been seen on the island I live on. I've seen a bunch of guys that are 6'7", 6'9" in my area, but we've never seen Bigfoot. And let's not forget that I have been accused of living in the Matrix. This was a photograph of one of my shows many years ago, as in 6 months ago. But no, I'm not in the Matrix, nor am I a computer. That's right. They want all the world's resources to themselves, and so they want us to cut back. That's so true, Guest 214. Thank you for figuring that out. I too thought the same thing. I don't have any delusions or any feelings of persecution, or no. You got me mixed up with somebody else. I believe that we can fix this problem. There are 10 major rivers in the world that are really polluted. And if we took initiative in working with the countries involved, we could probably get the Ganges to be clean for the people to somehow provide a place for their loved ones to be floating around in toxic water. The 5G network has been ordered. They're suppressing any information at all about the 5G network, so none of us can really be told about it. They don't want anyone to know the 5G network may have some problems. They would rather you just accepted it as the future for all transmissions. Without any testing, they've yet to really determine if it's safe or not. I believe it's unsafe. But some people are like real zealots and will say whatever money people want them to say.
The United States will be the first country in the world to open up high-band spectrum for 5G networks and applications. And that's damn important, because it means that U.S. companies
are going to profit from every little thing they do in the industry. Can you believe that? I actually met that guy. Yeah, I met him at a government conference in 2010 in Sacramento. I had a weird feeling about him. I was just looking at him in the room, and I'm going, Sarah, I'm just going to walk up and talk to this guy. Tom Wheeler, he worked for, I think it was Northrop at the time, in their communications division. Well, that was an old video from Tom. But the bottom line is 5G is clearly showing very serious signs. It's killing insect life. Bees just drop from the sky when they're around it. Right. And the birds, when they lit up a 5G mast in the Netherlands at The Hague, they found 299 birds drop out of the sky like they were like burnt, fried, dead. And the government of the Netherlands came up with some BS story that it was a weird virus that the birds had acquired and somehow affected them at a key time. So Chris made a good point. He said, Chris 22, it's not important. 4G is too fast for my needs. Why would we have 5 or 6Gs? Which 5G is 20 times faster than 4G. So you've got to wonder, why would they need that? And the answer is they do not need it. AI is being used to alter your existence. I believe that 5G was called into play by AI. Artificial intelligence ordered it so that they'd create something that was weaponizable. They could virtually fry the entire human race within seconds. Right now, the infrastructure is being laid so that the entire human race could be zapped, and there would be a cleanup operation of unmanned vehicles cleaning up your bodies. Meanwhile, life would go on, except humans would be dead. China's giant ionosphere zapping radar as a defense system masquerading science. Really? So Turbo Licker says, Dave, I'm all about a good finger-licking conversation. The answer with 5G is that it will trace us and we will all want to kill ourselves. Are you serious? So they've got some technology that can make you want to kill yourself? Wow. Sounds like you're onto something there. You're not allowed to post things here. I told you, you're banned, permabanned from the show. Okay, here we have giant ionosphere zapping radar as a defense system masquerading as science. China's massive radar system. Let's take a look. This new facility may target U.S. submarines in the South China Sea. Whoa, a lot of wires there. They revealed plans in China of this new radar facility on the island of Hainan, the China's southernmost point, describing it as a high-powered, incoherent scatter radar. The installation will bounce radio waves off the Earth's high-altitude layer of charged gas called the ionosphere. Although the project is in step with the country's other mega science projects, like planning the world's most powerful particle accelerator, building the largest single-dish radio telescope, or racing other nations to the nuclear fusion finish line, experts think the new facility is more interested in military matters than discovering the secrets of the Earth's upper atmosphere. Right, it resembles that of HAARP, the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program created in Alaska many years ago. Yeah, it could be used to manipulate the weather, zap the population. Turbo Licker says, Dave, I worked with 5G with an undisclosed company. They want to lick our brains dry. They will eat our kids. Help, do something. Stop it, please. Turbo Licker, thank you. We're on it. 5G beams can be concentrated to a specific point like your head, Chris says. Wow. You're freaking everybody out, guys, but I really appreciate this input. Seriously, you would not be able to express this anywhere else in any other forum. And look at, you got Medveral obviously not wanting to pipe in on the safety factors. I support, because I realize 5G is probably here to stay. I'd like to stop it, but what I support is instead a 5G plus system, which would make it electromagnetic frequencies safe. I'm suggesting this. It would include limiters on all the junction boxes that would limit the amount of voltage that could go through them. There's no way anything could ramp it up to anything above 50 volts. Some of these units are set up with capacitors that will handle 450 volts, which is a weapon. I don't know. You seem pretty dead to me. You just don't know it yet. You're probably dead and you haven't realized it. Have you been checked for any life support systems lately? Have you checked your heart? You may be one of the walking dead and not know it. Yeah, check to see if you have a heartbeat. And ask yourself, are you a zombie? Yeah, I mean that. Just have your vitals checked to see if you're alive, because you may not be. But no, some way of making it safe. There are Faraday cages out there that will protect people from these dangerous rays. These units could actually be embedded in Faraday cages so they don't put out field radiation. The people with the 5G are all in the same team. They play golf together, fly to private islands together, and they'll even poop together. These people will really take control of these dead people who are on food stamps. Oh, I know, Turbo Liquor, we're the only voice of dissent out there. I've analyzed the situation. There's not one organization quite like us, completely immune to financial backing and support from corporations. A lot of people are just taking money left and right, and they're very easily manipulated. I'm concerned. I'm just as concerned as you are. DARPA owns HARP now, and they've replicated the HARP system across a vast area. They've got telecommunications systems and this array of ionosphere generating radar. They've got the same kind of facilities all around the world now. This was the prototype right here. The original HARP facility in Alaska. They made a bunch of smaller units all around the world now, and they're deploying them, and they're using them for weather modification. Therein lies the discussion of weather modification and chemtrails that I was discussing earlier. But yeah, we do have plans to make this 5G system at least safer, but I don't know if it's safe. I can't tell you if it is. It looks to me like it's not safe. If 5G killed flocks of birds instantaneously, don't you think there would be flocks of birds dropping out of the sky wherever it's used? Yes. The U.S. bird population has declined 85% in 10 years. I'm not making this up. Look at the stats. There are dead birds everywhere. The only reason why I have birds in my bird area is because we don't have 5G in my area. It's the only reason why we're even getting birds to land in my little bird feeder. It doesn't drop in mass. We're talking about overall degradation of the bird population. 85% drop in 10 years is shocking. Don't undervalue that. When birds die, you rarely ever hear from them again, especially when they're dead. They don't go, tweet, tweet, I'm dead, tweet, tweet. See, I'm hearing my cat now saying, oh, I need to eat, David. Feed me. Well, Mommy decided to go to a Christmas party. Here's a story. Avoid Edinburgh. A bizarre conspiracy theory claims high-frequency HARP signal is disrupting the city. The conspiracy also suggests that an ex-nuclear Cold War signaling tower in Fife is being used to carry the HARP signal. Strap on your tinfoil hats, people, because we're about to delve into a truly weird conspiracy theory that suggests Edinburgh is being hit by a secretive high-frequency signal called HARP, causing headaches, insomnia, unusual and bizarre behavior. Yeah, I mean, you got to wonder with all the voltage going through here if this is not safe, people. Come on, people, now. Yes, David, in Room, this is no conspiracy. They discuss these things, and yes, they poop together, so they can discuss things longer in the poop room when they're pooping together. Even when they go to temple, they discuss this. Please say this publicly so that these people know. Yes, Turbo Liquor. No, I took a break earlier in one of the shows just to get a little relief, but it's definitely a technology we should be fearful of. Yeah. And there's no real reason for the 5G network, like this one person, Chris22, said. Yeah, 4G is sending 4K to your tablet instantaneously. Why do we need a 5G network? And then we also asked the question, with the bandwidth that was acquired when the analog signals on TV were turned off in 2009, 10 years later, we're still not using that bandwidth. It's still designated for military use only. What's that all about? We could be opening a bandwidth on the 4G network that would give us ample comparative values to the 5G network. There's no reason why we would be putting in this extremely dangerous infrastructure. I am suggesting that the 5G network is the primary cause of decline in the avian wildlife in the U.S. Yes, I'm suggesting that. But without further studies, we can't verify. You're going to have to post the link there. I don't have the link. Feral cats are not the reason why all the birds are dying. That's absurd. I watch birds every day. I'm a bird watcher, okay? And I can tell you that they are so cued in on the cat thing, I can't even tell you. We don't need smartphones with 8K video screens. That's the point. It would blind us with the science. Blinded with science. That's a good one. Blinded by science. 16K is already here in Beijing. You can buy a TV set with 16K in Beijing. I'm not kidding, man. Blinded me with science. Thomas Dolby. She blinded me with science. I'll play that later. Along with Tom Jones and Janis Joplin, Raise Your Hand. A little bit of the Tom Jones TV show. That's cool. All I'm telling you is that birds are so tuned into cats. It amazes me. I've got I guess a flock of quail in my backyard feeding every day. Mike, yeah. And the quail have been the same number of quail for the past year, and we've got one black cat roaming around. And if you've ever seen quail freeze in the middle of a scenario, I've seen my 15 quail actually freeze, absolutely freeze, whenever a cat gets near them. It's a phenomenon I've never, ever been able to see any other way. It's like they virtually sit there and they all freeze. And the cat walks right by them and can't even see them. It's amazing. I can't even tell you how weird it is. Okay. Hello, David. I'm a supporter. I agree with you. I don't believe that you should waste your marijuana, Mike. Yeah, don't burn it. Vape it. Okay, I think we've got good stuff here. Exit poll shows Boris Johnson is going to win the historic election. And the Labour Party got the worst results since 1935. Well, again, a bullshit guy who can continually bullshit his people apparently wins the election. There you have it. Unfortunately. Okay, it's that time now. I've got to go on and feed the cat, I guess. But I want to play you a little discussion here I said last night in our show, and I want to repeat this for all of you who believe that you can attack me. You can't. Whenever I see these people coming in and condemning me, it makes me feel better. The more they condemn me, the more I know I'm doing my job correctly. So the more they fall into the trap of wanting to censor me or attack me or troll me, the more it feeds me. It's like, I eat that up, people. Bring it. That's what I live for. I'm not here for money like you are. You're getting paid to attack me. I'm getting nothing for doing this other than the joy to see you banned every time you come in here, trolling me. That's the truth, man. It really is. Yeah, so you people are wasting your time trying to attack our show. Period. The technology is getting so sophisticated that we have people in our show that aren't even people. They're robot chatters. They come in and they're posting things all the time. Mikey Fern, we have a question for you. It's going to be a simple mathematical question, Mikey. You will see it on the screen. I won't say it out loud, but come up with the answer and you can stay in the room, Mikey. Mikey Fern, what is the answer to this question? Hey, I Beyond That, welcome. You're asked the question, what is the question on the screen? Robots cannot answer things with multimedia questions. Tom Jones time will be beyond your bedtime, Max. I can't play that during this time period. It's at 10 o'clock. So, Mikey Fern, what is the answer to this question? You are correct, sir. Okay, thank you. We just want to make sure you're not a robot, because we got robot chatters in here that put together weird statements like you just made about how you had an erection on a roller coaster, and you think you got it from the 5G network. I've never heard that before, Mikey, but thank you for sharing. It sounded like a robot. It's Greta time. Yo, the one woman who's inspired so much love in the world looks like a monster and has an attitude problem that I don't think I've ever seen. I mean, she'd be in behavior modification classes at school here in America just to deal with her attitude problem. But no, she's a world spokesperson for one thought, and that's cap and trade legislation. Not solving the chemtrail problem, not stopping the chemicals flying in our skies. No, just taxing everybody. That's what she supports. Well, you got a lot of accounts there, Netflix Coffee. It's almost overwhelming.
It's been about 100 days since Barack Obama took office as President of the United States. In that time period, he spent close to $3.2 trillion. Money we don't have. Money we won't even have in the next 10 years. And I'm beginning to think that he's not the guy for the job. And if you agree with me, and like many Democrats, I left the Democratic Party because Barack Obama didn't really come across as an honest person to me. So I suggest you vote for me in 2012 as an America's third party candidate and begin changing this government from the top down. Bring honesty back to America. Bring honesty back to politics. And that's what I think we can do. So join us and visit us every day at Blog TV. blogtv.com/people/America's Third Party. We're on every day trying to talk to you and trying to find out how you feel about this country. We're walking along the beach here in Washington, and it's so beautiful. And like I said, this is the environment we want to protect all around the country. But the problem is, we've got a president named Barack Obama who spent the last 100 days spending money we don't have, money that our children and their children don't have. And we're wondering what the heck is going on. Well, I can tell you one thing. I can manage this country a lot better than Barack Obama. I'm David John Sponheim. And I think the key is to actually find the waste. Now, Barack Obama said he's going to find $2 trillion in waste. I want to see him find that waste before he starts spending our money. And I can guarantee you I could find that waste, and then I'll direct that money to jobs, green tech jobs. With a 6-week to 6-month training period, everybody could be working and getting a good job, good employment, good living wage. So let's get this country back on track. Let's get out of debt and improve our environment. That's what it's all about. Hi. You're probably wondering where our country's going. I know I am. It's going down the tubes. Our country is in bad shape, and we've got bad leadership right now. The American people chose a politician, not a leader, with Barack Obama. They chose a man that told them what they wanted to hear, not what they needed to hear, and not what we need to do. Barack Obama has no experience in business. He clearly is running this country into the ground, spending way too much money, $3.2 trillion within the first 100 days. That's a big mistake. I believe our country is in dire shape. I believe the economy is getting worse under Barack Obama, and these past 100 days have been the worst anyone could possibly have imagined. Barack Obama has spent close to $3.2 trillion within the first 100 days. This is a terrible mistake, and I believe we need to move in a different direction immediately. I want to find the waste in this government and get rid of it, and then build up from there. I don't want to start spending money we don't have. So I urge you to vote for me in 2012. Okay. You can see I've been doing this for a few years. Yeah, and I don't think I'm worse for the wear. I mean, that was me. That was literally 10 years ago. So here I am back at you every day. I look the most like myself. I know. It's amazing. So yeah, here I am still doing it after 10 years. I just tried some of that amazing. Yeah, I know the audio was out earlier. I didn't want to say anything defamatory about Boris Johnson. So what I do sometimes is I mute myself so I can just speak out, get my words out, but nobody hears me. You don't get any of that money. Wow, a moth. What are we looking at a moth for? Exactly. Can you see the animal face? Yes, I can see it's dangerous animal face. I see it. Nature is amazing. But the reality is we've got zero fiscal accountability from our government. The growth of our technologies has kind of turtled. Ever since Donald Trump became our president, we haven't really moved toward any renewable energy solutions. We haven't made any progress whatsoever with innovative ways of looping carbon. We haven't been able to do anything to advance the development of an American automobile that could get 100 miles per gallon. Instead, we're relying on companies like Tesla to make that happen. And what I came to the conclusion back in 2008 that we needed a solution. So Sarah and I started writing a book called Hybrid Capitalism. And by 2012, we finished it and we published it. And it still has relevant solutions for the future of our country. There's no doubt about it. The ideas generated here could actually help get the country a return on investment.
We could also slow down the wasteful spending that's been going on. The tremendous wasteful spending. Our government literally is borrowing money every day to finance its budget. It's not using your tax dollars to finance the operations of our country's businesses and all the government infrastructure. So we are virtually borrowing money to run this country every day. Now the national debt is up to $23+ trillion, and it keeps growing every day. I mean, in a year or two, that'll be $25 trillion at the rate we're spending. And nobody in our government seems to understand the ramifications of this and how we're headed toward a crash. In no way a soft landing. Right, and Trump has turned a lot of people into billionaires and made more money for his cronies in the swamp. He said he was draining the swamp, but he hired 6 people in the cabinet that are billionaires. Why would he hire billionaires to be in the cabinet? In fact, if you had $1,000 million, which is $1 billion, would you be working? Why would these people even be working at all with the kind of money they allegedly have? I mean, even Betsy DeVos, clearly she wants to make money for her brother, the owner of Blackwater, or what they call it now, Academy. She wants to make money for her crony friends in like the Gulen schools that is producing madrasas around the country out in U.S. tax dollars, charter schools that she's invested in. She is the swamp creature. Trump is surrounded by these swamp creatures that he put in office. And we're supposed to believe that he's getting rid of the swamp? Come on. Why would he have 6 billionaires in his cabinet? You've got a picture of an animal that looks like Adam Schiff? No. No. Yeah. Yeah, that could be Adam Schiff. Yeah, you're right. No, I don't think Adam Schiff is Shifty Shift. No. He's just a guy who's very close and good relatives with George Soros. Many people, I exposed this earlier in the show, we talked about it.
President Trump on Wednesday signed an executive order intended...
We don't really talk much about this, but let's take a look at Shifty Shift, shall we? That's him. There he is in his full... Yeah, it looks like him a little bit. But no, he is actually a relative of George Soros. George Soros has funded his rise to power. And the strange thing about this, he's actually, his sister, Melissa Schiff, Adam's sister, is married to Robert Soros, the son of George Soros. We're not making this up, but what's really strange is that Donald Trump has never mentioned any of this. And therein is the reveal that Donald Trump is working for the deep state. He sees George Soros as a good friend who loaned him $160 million. In no way is Donald Trump going to out George Soros as Adam Schiff's relative. So isn't that amazing? He hasn't tweeted once about Adam Schiff being related to George Soros, and you're looking at it right in front of your eyes. You can't make this stuff up, people. So there's the reveal that Donald Trump is working for the deep state. And I've got other reveals too, like the fact that he doesn't want to show any tapes of Putin, and he won't reveal his IRS tax returns, even though he said he would. So we're dealing with a president that wants to lie, cheat, and steal. And has been caught in thousands of lies. Yet we're supposed to stand here and think that he's innocent because Joe Biden's guilty? Hunter Biden got a job making $50,000 a month. Clearly Biden's got dirt on his hands, and clearly Biden is definitely guilty of nepotism. And just because Biden is dirty and the Democrats are dirty taking foreign money doesn't make Donald Trump any less guilty. Hark, I hear a sound of a door opening. We have a Sarah arrival, thankfully. The lasagna turned out incredible, by the way. I just had a bite. Thank you. Hi.
Hello.
How was it? Was it tasty?
It was tasty.
Good.
And the band was great.
Good band. Cool. All I can tell you is the more you paint Joe Biden out to be guilty of corruption, the more it looks like you're trying to defend Donald Trump, claiming he's not corrupt. I'm enjoying your content, yes. But why is it you feel that Donald Trump is innocent because Joe Biden's guilty? Isn't it possible that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are both guilty? Can you possibly accept that inevitability? I don't think you people understand that just because you're labeling Joe Biden as being corrupt does not vindicate or exonerate Donald Trump. Trump is now representing Israel, claiming that all Israelis are part of a new nationality of being Jewish, when in fact not all Israelis are Jewish. So I don't understand why Donald Trump just declared that Judaism is a nationality. Who's pulling his strings? The answer is Russian Zionist oligarchs and a U.S. Zionist AIPAC members. Those are the people that pay for Donald Trump and control most of the two-party system that we have today. Both parties are corrupt at that level, taking money from AIPAC and willing to take money from Russian oligarchs. Lindsey Graham gets money from a Russian oligarch named Blavatnik, and the same man gives Mitch McConnell money to get reelected. This isn't being talked about in the mainstream media, people. Not at all. In fact, I can assure you 500 professors of jurisprudence have signed off that Trump has engaged in what they call impeachable offenses. When 500 professors come up with this, you have to ask yourself, how could this possibly be wrong? Just read it and weep. 500 professors say Trump engaged in impeachable conduct, people. In a signed letter, these 500 legal scholars and law professors has Trump as engaging in impeachable conduct. The academics said the evidence surrounding the impeachment inquiry shows that Trump betrayed the oath to help him distort an American election for his personal and political benefit at the expense of American national security interests. The nonprofit advocacy group Protect Democracy published the letter and released a similar item during the Mueller Russian investigations. And they said, but if the House of Representatives impeached the president for the conduct described here and the Senate voted to remove him, they would be acting well within their constitutional powers. Whether President Trump's conduct is classified as bribery, as a high crime or misdemeanor, or as both, it's clearly impeachable under our Constitution. 500 legal scholars have signed on. So I don't know where you're getting your crap just shipped my pants, but it sounds to me like you're a Trump-tard and you don't belong here. Later. Oh, wait a second. He's refuting my statement, saying that these people are all Democrats. Okay, you can hang out. I don't mind including your dialogue. Yeah, you're fine. Well, make no mistake about it. Just shipped my pants has this point. Democratic professors outnumber Republicans 10-1, a study shows. Well, touche there, buddy. I'm not trying to refute you on the low end. I want to get you on an even plane. Yeah, touche. He got me a good one there. Yeah. Well, it is going to come down to the Senate finally realizing that all of the senators are getting money from Russia. Yeah. And when they realize that they're all going to be looked at as possibly corrupt unless they vote to impeach Donald Trump, then we'll see some reckoning and accountability by the Senate. Until they get their entire financial money bags analyzed, we will never know. And like I said, there's ample proof that Mitch McConnell is on the take, and so is Lindsey Graham. I can cite some sources. I know many of you are looking for sources, so here are two sources connecting Mitch McConnell to the money from Russia. Mitch, I'm waiting. I did a search on PolitiFact, and I found this story. At one point, it was said that Mitch McConnell was getting most of his money. The biggest donor was a Russian. Not really. But it does show you that Mitch McConnell is getting money from a Russian, the same Russian who's funding Lindsey Graham's re-election process. So you Republicans got to understand, you're getting direct funding from Russia at the highest level. Here's Lindsey Graham's a link, which will show you as well. Russian money directly from the same oligarch. And here's the other link right here. Check it, watch it, read it, and weep.
Check it.
Check it, watch it, read it, and weep.
Check, check.
Check, check. Okay, we're going to remove the dystopian background, and I will give you Sarah to talk to. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to bring up this in just a second. So it was a pretty good dinner. What did you have, the salmon or?
I had a small piece of pot roast, which is why I didn't come into the show right away, because I really needed to floss.
Oh, really? Okay.
But I had salmon pate, baked brie with cranberry chutney. That was my favorite.
Wow, baked brie with cranberry chutney. That sounds good.
They had
on little crackers.
No, you just yeah. Baked brie is like you wrap it. They wrap it in phyllo dough.
Yeah.
And then they.
But they dip it, don't they? I mean.
No, because the phyllo dough is around it.
Oh, okay. So you eat the dough.
And it's melted with the dough, and you put chutney on it, and you just eat it like. You just eat that, and it's really good.
I bet that was good. Yeah.
And there was a chicken skewer, but I couldn't eat it because it was like all dried out. And there's some kind of beef
fried chicken, yeah,
on a little piece of baguette, which was all right.
It was pretty good. Was it tender?
Yeah, it's all right. That was okay. The pot roast wasn't that tender, but the meat wasn't that tender, but it was
It was good. It was a real meat.
Well, it was just a little like appetizer kind of stuff.
Good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Which was good, and I saw some, I would say, friends of mine.
Good.
Who are and everybody was saying, congratulations, Sarah, on getting your master's degree and other things.
Wow, that's great.
And
you had a lot of fun.
I hear you're doing great things.
Yeah, so it was kind of a big showcase for your success this year.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like I know all the important people in my area, in my field.
Good.
So, at least in my local area.
She's networking well with her local people.
I network well, yes.
That's good.
Exactly.
Well, we've had a pretty good night. I made a lasagna, multiple dishes, 10 servings for $10, and it turned out great. I'm going to go have a bite of it right now. But it was an awesome dinner.
That's awesome.
Yes, thank you. All right, so Sarah's going to talk about whatever she wants to talk about here. I'm done with...
I don't drink. There were definitely people that were getting drunk there.
Oh, yeah. They do. People drink a lot at these parties, these Christmas parties.
But I talked to one person like, hey, I don't know you, and I just introduced myself, and they said, oh, I'm with so and so because I'm their designated driver, or DD. They said. And I was like, oh yeah, designated driver. And I'm
that's good.
Yeah, I'm my own DD because I don't drink.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
I know, I'm glad that you don't. Yeah.
The thing about me, what's so cool about me is I don't need a drink to like be loose and have a good time and like get out on the dance floor and
that's true.
I pull out my friends that are like, let's go dance, and yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and
they are like, oh, after I have a cold one.
Yeah, a lot of people really need that alcohol to loosen up and lower their defenses. It's a definite social drink. Drinking is social. It lowers people's inhibitions. Okay, so we've got Soros and Adam Schiff together at last. I'll play that later. Okay, great.
Well, I mean, I don't mean that, Johnny. Whatever. Take it as you will.
Okay, so we have a couple people, and as far as our YouTube show is concerned, I did have it up for a while, But somehow it got lost in the mix. Let's take a look. Nope. Okay.
There it is over there.
This is it? Oh,
the other one?
that's it. Okay.
Maybe.
There it is. Yep. All right. Top chat. All right. Sarah's going to talk for a bit, and I will be back. Thank you.
Anyway.
Till 10 o'clock.
All right. Sounds good. Very good. No, David doesn't need to worry because the thing is, I don't drink, so I'm totally in control of all of my faculties, Johnny. So, but unlike people that like need to drink to like dance, I'll go out and dance without needing to drink. So that's what I mean by that. Whereas other people are like too hesitant to drink. Like, I was the only one, like, there was this really good band, and they started playing, and I was in the back of their corner of the room, and I was just, like, dancing back there. I'm, like, dancing back in the corner, because they were really good. And, they're like, there's a whole dance floor. You should come up to the dance floor. But I was still not wanting to go up to the dance floor at that point. But then it was really good that a couple people went to the dance floor, and then I was like, yeah, we should go join them. So I took a girlfriend of mine, took her to the dance floor, and we danced, and then, yeah. So, anyway, anyhow, that's about it. Stories. There was a grandfather whose child asked him to tell him his story, and he said, there was a grandfather once upon a time on a dark and dreary night. The child asked the grandfather to tell them a story, and he said, once upon a time on a dark and dreary night. They weren't that kind of band. I know I'm addicted to hosting this show on the internet. Well, maybe I'm not. But I know it's fun. So, hello, Hawkster. Cute little monkey faces. Oh, and I know David is watching in the other room. But they played a whole bunch of cool songs. They played this one song called Word Up. They played She's the Brick House. They played that song. But they played other songs too. Yeah, I know. It wasn't a slam dancing kind of thing. I mean, it was more like... No, David is banning people. He's watching the chat in the other room because he did his cooking show. And so his laptop that he did the cooking show on is on in the kitchen, and so he's watching the chat and he's banning people. Keep you guys in line. Oh, that's weird. Is that... Yeah, David's watching the chat, yeah. And David's banning people. All right, anyway, how are you guys? Are you going to any holiday parties? So I went today. That's where I was, at a holiday party. And I probably am going to another one. Well, I'm planning on going to another one on Saturday. So I won't be here Saturday either. But yeah, it's nice. Just thinking, do I want to have a different little holiday party for students? What should they do? But Control Alt Delete, that will take care of your control issues. Hello, Hot Rails. Yeah, no. I can't imagine that, Johnny Sacco. Anyway. Tomorrow should be an easy day. I did like get ready for tomorrow before I went to my holiday party. I think I'm all set. Tomorrow should be fun. Well, for me, I think it should be fun because in the morning we're doing, well, I'm doing a test. Okay, maybe that's not fun, but it's so-so. And then, yeah, Rick Astley. I think I did see those dance moves on the chat, on the dance floor tonight, Rick Astley. Dance moves. But anyway, then I'm going to do some math and science in the afternoon, which will be good.
I just inhaled that serving. It was so good.
Oh, good. David just ate his lasagna.
Yeah, I love that.
He loved it.
It's great. There's a lot more.
I ate your lunch. That was really good.
Oh,
the
good, yeah.
chicken wrap thing.
Oh, good.
That was good. But yeah. So I'm all finished with my Christmas shopping. I don't need to do that for money, Johnny. Maybe that's what you need to do for money. I don't know. David said no salt ingredients were used. I know David often cooks with no to low salt. Did I give David a credit on the electric bill so I can turn the heat up? I can turn the heat up anytime I want, and then I'll pay the electric bill. But I was dancing tonight, so I don't need to. I got it all. I insulate all my heat inside my jacket. I'm admirable or admirable. I'm not an admiral, but well, the thing is, for me, I'm also a big fan of climate change reform.
Well, I mean, we have a heater in there. If you want me to turn it on, I can.
No, I don't want you to.
But the thing is,
I was just going to explain
Yeah, go ahead.
that I believe everybody should wear a jacket indoors, because when you turn your heat up, that heat, if you do it like electric or gas, it has to come from somewhere, and especially electric, it comes from coal, and everywhere the heat comes from is adding to the carbon footprint. Oh, goodness. No, you were right. Admirable is admirable is the same thing. You're right with the first spelling. You do drop the E to add the ABLE. At least you're warm. I'm warm too. But every degree that you can save on either side of that, Hot Rails will save you. I didn't even take my hair down tonight when I left it up, and I was wearing I didn't bring a purse, so I was wearing my fanny pack. But of the state of Louisiana, what's wrong with the state of Louisiana? No, just around it. Oh, yes, I have lots of cool booty in my fanny pack. Like a pen that lights up. Pretty cool. Do I believe in David's chemtrails? David doesn't have any chemtrails. Do I believe that David's right that there are chemtrails? I believe there are both. I believe most of them are contrails, but some are chemtrails. You have an epidemic of rich white boys coming down into Louisiana from the big city and taking your women, and you're upset about that. Well, I suppose you could go to the big city and meet women there. Yeah, something like that, exactly. It was funny because in my fanny pack I carry around my phone. It's funny that you say light up fanny, because I carry around my phone, and today somehow my pen light turned on, and it's not a pen light, but it has a light in it to show off the decal on the side. But my pen, I lost my cap that I usually keep on my pen. But anyway, the light was on, and my flashlight on my phone was on, and I don't even know how to turn on my flashlight on my phone, but somehow it got turned on in my fanny pack. How far is a hop, skip, and a jump away? About 5 to 20 miles, 5 to 50 miles. That's pretty funny. Hot Rails. No, they're two separate things. David hates pens without caps. It's like, no. I know it is quite a stretch, 5 to 10. Well, a hop, skip, and a jump away. I think it's relative. It's relatively close. I know I didn't answer your question about how far it actually is. Welcome to the chat room. I do believe that they should not spray the skies in order to stop global climate change. I'm going to go to I think I'm going to go to a climate change meeting in my area. Peter Gabriel, yeah, they're good. What else did they fire? Earth, Wind, and Fire kind of esque. I think that was kind of like the music tonight. Well, the group that I listened to tonight, their name was Broham. I don't know what that means. Oh, Peter Gabriel has, yeah. That look was to Mr. Bill's comment. I wonder if they have music in here. I would play some music for you to show you what I was listening to tonight, but of course I have to wait till 10 o'clock to do that. Yeah, but it was really good music. Anyway, it was very cool. It was fun too. This is a cool little thing I'll show you guys that is on the site of the band I listened to tonight. I like how they have all their fingers out and then that like peace signs, and then they it makes that shape. I do like that. Wars Without Frontier. Is it Wars Without Tears? Something Without Frontiers. Interesting. It's the most active flu season in 15 years. It's wreaking havoc. Wow. David would say it's all the chemtrails. You do not believe in contrails? You believe it's all chemtrails? Chemtrails, contrails. But yeah, so far I have had an abundance of health. One of the things I think that has helped recently with my health is when I wake up in the morning. When I wake up in the morning feeling like I drink 3 glasses of water, tepid water, like room temperature water. I believe there are some chemtrails, but do I believe that's like causing all our problems? No. No, I don't do any alcohol. No beer, no alcohol. Hot rails. Coffee and beer when you wake up, those like counterbalance each other. I drink 3 glasses of water and then I have my breakfast. And the nice thing about it, it like keeps everything nice and loose and just, you don't have any problems. And it's a way to like make sure, you know, you're staying hydrated. So it's a good way to get hydrated, to start off your day hydrated. So that's one of the things I've been doing for my health lately. I have an abundance of happiness. I feel like I've reached this awesome point in my life that, I mean, I have you in my life. That's so awesome. And that I have exactly the life that I want to live. I'll just be happy doing this most of the time. I really like my job. Yeah, I love my job. I love my life. I love where I live. So I've arrived. Now I'm just enjoying it. You're content yourself. Yeah, it's good to have a really good life and, you know, appreciate what you have. I really do appreciate what I have in my life. I really appreciate the internet. You want more and you want it now? You want more in your life and you want it now? Well, start by taking care of what you have. And one of the things with Marie Kondo and her The Magic of Tidying Up book made me realize I have more than enough. And I did that whole thing with the clothes where you put all your clothes in a big pile and you look at each piece of clothing and you're like, do I love this? And if you love it, you say, thank you, I love you, and you keep it. And if you don't love it, you say, thank you for being in my life for a season, goodbye. Interesting, thanks. But when I did that with my clothing, I realized I have all the clothes that I want. And when I buy any new clothes, I'm like, do I really love it? So.
You know what's kind of strange? Almost every single witness that came up in protest of Trump claiming he did quid pro quo. Everyone he attacked on Twitter personally. Isn't that what a guilty person does, is attack the messenger? I mean, that's a classic guilty behavior.
Blame shifting.
Blame shifting, claiming that every one of them was a bad person. 12 people all concluded that he did quid pro quo, and he just kept assailing every one of them like a guilty person would.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. You might be right, Hot Rails. Maybe you should be a life coach. You probably have a better life than a lot of those life coaches. I know I have an excellent life. But not everybody would want my life. I get that. I don't know why not, but I have a doting guy who takes great care of me. I've got a great place to live. I do have my worms. I'm doing my part in saving the earth by composting every day. I love my job. I make a difference in the lives of young people.
Outstanding. Really
Help
good.
them read and do math.
Yeah, you're a great teacher.
But
Thank you.
oh, you mean that they want David's life? Of course. When you're right, people always suffer. I look like a Trump hater. Well, I don't like him. That's true. Yeah, I tend to support that. I mean, yeah, I do tend to support that. You wish people could see life through your eyes, they wouldn't be able to cope. Well, the thing about the expired food diet is sometimes you get something that's bad and then it makes you a little sick, but then it makes you purge everything that's in your system already, so. You found yourself years ago? Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe it does take a long time to be yourself. Maybe that's the thing about me. I am myself, and I like myself. I don't know about David, but every once in a while I have, but that was really getting ready for a colonoscopy. Which I recommend for everyone at least once in your life. I think there's certain things that you don't want to eat expired. Well, like cereal. Would you still eat expired cereal? Yes, I would. I love that idea, hot rails. Do you remember it wasn't, I don't think it was Outer Limits. I think it was Twilight Zone episode where the guy, all he wanted was peace and quiet to read his books. And he wanted to read all the books in the world. And then the whole world ended and he was there and he could read his books. But then his glasses broke.
That was a great Twilight Zone.
Poor guy.
You know, Burgess Meredith played that role, and I got to tell you, I had one of those weird moments with Burgess Meredith. I was at the Point Doom Malibu colony selling my wares it was like a swap meet day for all the rich people in Malibu, and I literally walked into Burgess Meredith drunk off his butt. He just walked right into me. It was just another one of those I walked into Burgess Meredith kind of things.
Well, David always walked into famous people.
I walk out of this thing where I walk into.
I'm going to find a famous person. They're there.
I ran to that location, walked right into him. No, I really did turn a corner and walked right into Burgess Meredith. And it was like I was in that.
Sorry, I just walked into you.
I walked into you. Well, there are some stories that I could tell you about that last more than 5 seconds, but it wouldn't really keep everybody interested. Hey, wait a second. We've got a negative person in the room, and any negativity like that will be removed from the show. You have to remain positive, even in your username. But stinky salami, that doesn't cut it. You know what Hot Rails did to me tonight? I showed him the sausage that you bought at Walmart.
Uh-huh.
He said, pork kills people. You can't eat that stuff. It's terrible. Hillshire Farms. It's like, come on, man. That's the kind of lentil soup you crave when you're on a hot or cold day, you know? You get one of those sausage lentil soups. All right, I think we're good here. You got the rest of the night off. Rest up for tomorrow. Good. You got to do your thing tomorrow again. So enjoy your evening. Thank you for making a cameo appearance tonight. And
thank you. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed now.
I would. Get some sleep. All right. We're all set. We're good to go.
You might be right. I don't eat pork that often, but every once in a while I do eat pork.
Have you ever been mellow?
I'm mellow now.
Yeah, I know.
But I was dancing earlier.
Well, good. Right on.
So.
Enjoy. Thank you so much. I'm glad you had fun.
Thank you.
It's important to have fun in life. I have fun every night when I adjust my hair. All right. Here we are, having fun. So, how can I help you? This tie was purchased by my sister. She gave me this Perry Ellis from the Perry Ellis portfolio. It's one of my favorite ties. I would wear this tie every day if I could. I don't eat la choy chow mein. I don't even eat pork on a daily basis. I did buy organic pork though recently, and I thought I'm going to try this out for my stuffing this year. I'm thinking another turkey is in order for the Christmas season. Yes, just to fulfill my carnivore Christmas thoughts. What are you craving for Christmas? Anybody have a specific food item they really like to, taste? Well, what if we could implant that memory in your thought chip that you could get downloaded from your local, chip injector? They say that 25% of the population would gladly be chipped. And you wouldn't need to read those books, Hot Rails. You could actually just have them downloaded to your chip or uploaded to your chip. Yeah, so the future of reading really is kind of antiquated. I think we'll just be uploading books into our brain memory, and then we'll receive all the benefits of reading a really good book in a few seconds. Like, whoa, I can't believe that happened. Oh, I'm so glad he got free. And then you go on to the next book, The same theme. Oh, I'm sorry you lost that. Oh, I'm glad you found that. Oh, too bad that. Oh, and Where were they hiding? Oh, they found him. I'm enjoying the whole idea of actually watching films. Episodic television, to me, is more interesting than reading. Because it's so, like, there. You're, like, almost living it. And in a few short years, we'll be having episodic TV customized for our personal desires, how the plots will play out. You'll be able to pick your plot in movies coming up in the not too distant future. I think there are a few movies out you can pick your plot right now. They're interactive movies which go in various directions. Yeah, I'm not making that up either. I heard there were a couple of downloadable movies that are interactive on Netflix. I don't know how you interact with them, but it should be interesting. So the fence is really a net failure. So far, Donald Trump's fence has been scaled by countless people. Last week, a bunch of people cut a hole the size you could fit a car through. With a standard saw you could get at Home Depot. And voila. Andale, andale. Did you hear that? Rapido, rapido. Andale. I speak a little Spanish. I grew up in Los Angeles, California. And many people I speak Espanol. See? It's no problemo. I even sound like the Mexicans that live in Los Angeles. So I don't sound unusual. When I'm in carnicerias, I talk like this. Man, did I get rid of all the chatters and the only ones left are trolls? Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear.
How dare you? I can't play the demonic one. They purged that off internet. Somebody in our room called in a complaint to YouTube and they shut that demonic one down. It's gone forever. It was really well done by a Spanish guy. I know. I was really bummed when I found out I didn't make a copy of it. So, oh my God, you got the power. Only way to have freedom again, make your war on the grid. All wireless must be destroyed. I don't know, man. That sounds like damaging to property. I got a better idea. Everyone should have a Faraday cage they should walk around in. I'm thinking of building a Faraday cage for our bodies. Yeah, I'm in the working stage, designing it, cutting it. I'm laying it out. It's in the layout stage right now, in the pre-visualization stage. But how would you envision a Faraday cage around your body? Plastic netting, tinfoil hats? I mean, yeah. But they do make clothing now that are like Faraday cages. They make electromagnetic-free clothing. It's completely available in the market. Let me show you. How dare you mention that? Yeah, you can do a lot of things to protect yourself. Whether we can go after the emitters, I don't know. I mean, it's like we can only do that politically. Yeah. Well, variety of censorship. They're hitting us with many different things. I could care less, though. You are allowed to have dinner tonight, please, Mr. David. You poor guy. You must be living in indentured slavery. Are you sure you're not involved in the workaway program? They allowed me to have dinner tonight, David. You poor guy. You must be like a human slave or something. This guy, please, Mr. David, seems like he's a complete Yeah, that's the same clink. It's the same link, man. Yeah, it's the same link, man. Okay, well, I'm going to go look for a EMF-free clothing. Let's take a look on eBay. Solar negative energy sticker-free cloth. Ooh. This is possible. We could make it with this. This is out of Great Britain. Whoa, look at that. EMF radiation free, completely free. How big do you get? A brand new piece of, what is it? Fiber, microfiber. It's an EMR shield. I want like, yeah, it's for 3 EMF stickers and 1 microfiber cleaning cloth. Okay. I'm not sure if it's exactly what I'm looking for here. I want like rolls of this stuff. Dave, the shocking of the monkey represents multiple things. First, the shock is the semi-literal sense of electricity. What? So you're saying we're shocking the monkey because we've all engaged in some sort of a masturbatory behavior? You're really out there, Hot Rails. Guy is losing it, man. It's like he's gone MGTOW to the max. Unbelievable. See, here's EMF protection clothing. Here's a knit hat that you can get. Check that out. It's only $15 and $11 to ship. Really? But it does shield. Oh, yeah. The atomized shungite crystals are impregnated into the fabric, which reduces the electromagnetic force voltage by over 95%. Test results of your garment are supplied. So they give you the complete test. It's a medium size or a large, so it'll fit either one. That would be pretty cool for your head. The question I have is, does it hold the EMF radiation in your head, inside your head? I was always wondering about that, because if you're wearing a tinfoil hat, doesn't it keep the brainwave and alpha wave construct of your brain within that sphere, and wouldn't that pressure your own cells to mutate? Yeah, I'm just very hesitant to wear any type of a tinfoil hat. Refunds have been very slow, I know. They've been rationing food now. Are you sure you're not in China? With a bump IP address out of the CIA headquarters? I mean, whatever is going on with you, please, Mr. David, you're certainly a weird character. I mean, you seem like a clone. We really do have a clone in our show. Isn't it amazing? He chats. He talks about politics too, but he doesn't even know where he is. It's like he's collected the memory of the hacker that they cloned at the CIA. I would imagine it would be cheaper for them to clone a hacker than to hire 15 hackers, right? I mean, think about it. All of his memories are fuzzy, he says. My memories are fuzzy, Mr. David. And all that remains says that it will be a great war against all the AI, the Luciferian system, which Gilgamesh was using before and is now back. Well, is that similar to Gilligan's Island? The Professor and Mary Ann. Gilgamesh. Where are you getting this, all that remains? Could you cite your references, your biblical references? We want to check the theosophy behind what you're saying. You seem theosophically accurate, but we'd like to see some accurate statements. We've had a really intense dialogue about religion in our show sometimes, but we don't talk about it here. We have our iVlog viewer. One of the most important viewers we've had, I think, is Oma, who comes in now and then and talks about her visions outside of her house in Florida, her farm. She's an amazing person. Hey, I forgot to put pro cams on tonight. Silly me. Well, did we get any links while I was gone? Good. No, we're good. Trump's EPA just made its final decision not to ban a pesticide that hurts kids' brains. Wow. Huh. I didn't get that one. Thanks, Sarah. Okay. Yeah. You know, we haven't seen any bans from DDT. After DDT, that was the only pesticide that was ever banned. Nothing ever was banned after that. It's like humans lost control of their government. Zetterbeard's been gone a while. We haven't seen him. A nation run by billionaires and lobbyists, yeah. This is not the story I thought it was. We got PK coming up, more of the Boston Hoaxathon. This is a big enough link in and of itself. Yeah, Sarnev is in the news, and what better time than to talk about, you know, Sarnev, the young man who, Dzhokhar Sarnev, who's now being held up on appeal, possibly, because they didn't give the jurists enough questions about what they knew about the case. There was no real fact-finding in the jury stage. Yeah, but I don't have Sarnev here. Okay, I've got a couple links I haven't been talking about. There we go. Okay. There he is. Yeah, so the federal appellate judges grilled U.S. prosecutors Thursday on screening of jurors who convicted the bomber, and raising the possibility his 2015 death sentence might not stand and a new trial could be ordered. I have to say thank you. So you accepting the chip will prevent your sleep and cause you pain even if you don't want it? Oh, wow. Oh, you're really here with all this doom and gloom, huh? All that remains? Here we wanted so many positive things from you. Here's a bright note. The U.S. developed a weapon system may cause global warming. Oh, okay. So apparently what they have now with the 5G network may actually trigger it. Or HARP even. The U.S. has developed a type of weapon called High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, HARP. It strikes the upper atmosphere with a focused and steerable electromagnetic beam. Environment Minister Anil Nadav Dev told the Rija Sabha in New Delhi. The U.S. developed weapon that strikes the atmosphere with a focused electromagnetic beam may cause global warming. The government today said and acknowledged that climate change is likely to reduce the yield of major crops like wheat and maize in India. So they are beginning to believe, India is beginning to question whether the U.S. Western forces are using HARP to alter their weather pattern, creating a drought. Wow. I applaud the Indians. Congratulations. Good work. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad they're reality oriented over there in New Delhi. And their weather is really bad in New Delhi. It's terrible. The pollution is the worst in the world now. So they're thinking of putting in air filters, large ionic air filters. Why are we looking at a funeral? I told you wanted upbeat stuff here. Yeah, you're kind of bringing me down. Hey, Prince Andrew's other pedophile friend. Yeah, besides Jeffrey Epstein. Last night we learned about this. We also learned about Jeffrey Epstein being near an island. Another guy like Jeffrey Epstein was near an island right next to Jeffrey Epstein's Little St. James, and it too was involved in child trafficking. We talked about that too. Anyway, Andrew's tribute to the chaplain at a Canadian prep school he attended prompted the man's alleged victims to finally come forward. They gave a tribute to this chaplain that Andrew had when he was at this prep school. And everybody started saying, yeah, he molested them. 5 people came out and said that the guy that Andrew endorsed was molesting people. How a royal gift exposed sexual abuse at an elite Canadian school. Prince Andrew wanted to memorialize his friend and former chaplain at Lakefield College. The resulting tribute went the other way. Andrew had come to Lakefield in 2008 to deliver a hand-carved baptismal font for the school chaplain. The font was carved with a rock from his mother's Balmoral Castle in Scotland. During the blessing ceremony, Andrew and others fondly remembered Gleed as the confidant of the troubled, the defender of the bullied, and the true friend to all. But Gleed, who died in '01, was anything but a defender and a true friend to certain boys at Lakefield. He was a pedophile and who preyed on vulnerable young students and took his secret to the grave. Kind of like Jimmy Savile. He was alleged to have tortured and killed children. Yeah. They claimed he was some sort of a dark warlock in the Church of Satan in England. And we all know that he used to hang out with the likes of Mick Jagger. They used to bum around London all the time. So you got to wonder what we really do know and what we really don't know about those dark, arcane, secret societies. But we won't know much if we don't really ask any questions. Yeah, so all that remains craps out in our room sometime with his religiosity, and I could kick him, but it would just piss him off. We like to read Bible sectures and talk about doom and gloom. Oh, that's one of the favorite topics here. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I was wondering where the story went. Mother Jones. Good. I used to read Mother Jones magazine. Trump's EPA just made its final decision not to ban maker Dow DuPont. Yeah, on Wednesday, the United States EPA doubled down on one of the most controversial environmental rejected proposal from the agency's own scientists to ban an insecticide called chlorpyrifos that farmers use on a wide variety of crops, including corn, soybeans, fruit, and nut trees, Brussels sprouts, cranberries, broccoli, and cauliflower. Whoa. It's a nasty piece of work. It's an organophosphate, a class of bug killers that work by interrupting the electrochemical processes that nerves use to communicate with muscles and other nerves. Chlorpyrifos is also an endocrine disruptor, meaning it can cause adverse developmental, reproductive, neurological, and immune effects, according to NIH. Wow. It has an effect ranging from lowering your IQ to higher the rates of autism. So we are looking at a potential cause of the rise in autism, and Trump just went ahead and rubber stamped them and gave them a free pass. Wow. You got to dig really deep for this Trump trash talk. We don't have to dig. No, it's right out in front of us. All we have to do is open the show every night and we can talk about the unbelievable, heinous things that Trump has done. Yeah. I mean, number one, he told you he'd present his IRS tax returns and none of you Republicans care. And he has no recordings whatsoever with Putin, and you think there's nothing going on between him and Putin. You got to be a bunch of brain-dead idiots to think that something isn't going on. That's why we call you Trump-tardo. Yeah. I don't mind picking on you tonight. It's fine. We have a request for what?
It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free.
Hey, do you ever wonder, like, what is going on? I mean, like...
Now traveling to another dimension. A dimension of both sight and sound. Of both things and ideas. The radical departure from reality is now taking place.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And now you're going to begin to understand what you've just done. Introducing the weird world of Trump stump. You can't trump the stump. Thank you for coming in, everyone. We are now discussing Trump again by request. Trump Tardo said we didn't have enough to going on here, so we're now on it. Alrighty, well, the fact is we're all drinking pesticides and we're wondering why people are autistic. No wonder you picked Trump as your guy. Yeah, you want to be poisoned. with pesticides. Huh, what a trip. It does not even make you think about your children and what they're eating and the potential carcinogens that they're going in their system. Do you even care? Do you even care about anything? Have you ever felt mellow? Have you ever cared? No. I think that's Olivia Newton-John. Have you ever felt mellow? Hey, we got a couple things lined up at 10 o'clock in about 12 minutes. Number one song will be Tom Jones and Janis Joplin. And then we'll follow with a little Thomas Dolby, She Blinded Me with Science. Yeah, many of you haven't heard those songs, so I'm going to use the fairness doctrine to get everything out there. Fair use policy, rather. Thank you. All right, the fairness doctrine is something quite different. Okay, so we're done here? Good. All right. Let me get back to what really matters in your life. Whether reptiles exist or not. Okay, let's get to audio clip 101. Mr. Right, short.
Gonna make you feel good, gonna make you feel good, 'cause you're my Mr. Right. Oh, and if my feelings start to pressure you, it's alright, I will give you time. 'Cause of you, I will try to keep my appetite for free life. You're my Mr. Right, my Mr. Right, too good to be true.
All right, that was nice. Yeah, it's nice to have a relaxing little interlude with music, you know. So often our minds are so linear, and when we live in a circular world, and it's so much easier to imagine what life would be like in nature, you know. And that's why I'm sitting comfortably outside of my natural background here. This is the life I lead every day. And if you're wondering why no, that's not Andy Kaufman. That was Adam Schiff, who looks just like Andy Kaufman. You're wondering why I spray fruit enzymes on my face all the time, along with Fountain of Youth water? It's because I am replicating the natural environment of what Earth was like back in 2020. Yes. And I believe I'm almost living in that era. Communicating with you in real time, in the time orientation spectrum that you are currently living in. We can interact as though you're wondering what's going to happen next in life, and I can tell you what's going to happen next. Maybe I can answer some of your personal questions. You went to bed, sunchild, getting some sleep. I understand. Oh yes, that and tomatoes. I took Pope Francis's recommendations to eat more tomatoes. So I've been living on spaghetti and lasagna and tomatoes sauce, and oh yeah, I think he's right. Francis is onto something there. Tell him I said so too. I'd eat more tomatoes. He's very good to you. We're concerned that Donald Trump is taking our country into an abyss of kind of letting Russia decide what to do for us. So when we are told what to do, I naturally said, oh, we better leave Syria now and abandon the Kurds, and Trump just worked that out with Putin. That's a problem. Yeah, so at a third party, we don't want that to happen. We kind of want a new America that stands for America, not a global world order, which Donald Trump seems to be supporting. You see, when he got bought off, he became a shill or a puppet for the global new world order. They have strings attached to Donald Trump, so therein lies the problem. It's a national security risk for us, and he's already proven to be very much a problem in that respect. being manipulated, he could easily flip on any issue. You think he's for gun control? He's for red flag laws. No longer that big of a gun control guy. Yeah. So you're onto a different thing there. You know, not really. I mean, I'm getting reduced carbs. What I do normally is eat a carbohydrate once every 3 days. So when I made this lasagna, it'll be like food for an entire week. Yeah, I rarely carbo overload. Yeah, I told you I only cook carbs once a week on Thursdays. That's why everyone's complaining. You make too many carbs, Dave. Thank you for loving me. But we have a lot of things to worry about with this guy because he is so manipulatable. And yeah, I do kind of side with some of the liberals out there. I'll admit that. I mean, Matt Damon's speech kind of made sense to me.
Should have resisted. And if we were only there, we would have showed them. Even in Stalin's Russia, we can understand that. People are obedient. All these herd-like people. Remember those bad old days when people were exploited by feudalism? Everything was terrible in the Middle Ages. But now we have Western civilization, the rule of law. The rule of law has regularized and maximized the injustice that existed before the rule of law. That is what the rule of law has done.
Yes, you're right. Good point. See, many of the Republicans that are pitching this rule of law, constant pitch, the rule of law this, rule of law that, have no place for democracy. They don't want anyone to conclude that people of our age can make decisions that are better for our time than our forefathers did in the Constitution. So there's the strict rule of law constitutionalists versus the Democrats, the Jeffersonian Democrats. And this has been playing out for centuries now in America. But this guy only responds to money. He's not an ideologue at all. Donald Trump will sway toward gun control if it suited him politically. That's the problem. He's exactly what the corporate elitists want to manipulate the world so that we no longer have a nation state, so that America no longer has important boundaries. Has he made any progress on the fence? And the answer is not really. Had I been given a year and $1 billion, I would have built this tri-level fence. $1 billion is all it would take to put these containers together to protect our border. But he hasn't really done more than maybe 100 miles of fencing. He may have bolstered up the existing 600 we have, but the fences, as you can see, could easily be scaled. So he hasn't really implemented an idea that I came up with in 2008, a 1,000-mile fence. So we're still waiting on that, which the New World Order, they could care less about this. They want an open, porous border. They want illegals to come into our country and take away our education services and our medical benefits by leeching off of our system. The elites want to keep America down. And that's why I preach the gospel of a new America, where we don't have to worry about people like this who have no ideological goals whatsoever, but rather simply do what people tell them to do who give them money. That's the inherent problem with Donald Trump. He really doesn't represent anything but the status quo, and not a good status quo, not a sustainable economy, but one that leeches from every dollar, every tax dollar except for the rich, giving much of the breaks, tax breaks to the rich, which now will keep our country from innovating and using capital investment, because we're going to be short $5.5 trillion in the next 10 years because of Trump and the tax breaks to the rich that he and the Republicans have given. And this can't stand for America. This can't be our future. We won't have a future. It's gone. We need a more of an active mental state, a creative person as president, somebody who can work with both liberals and conservatives, not a divider like Donald Trump. And you can see how he has become a divider, just like Barack Obama in that respect. And these words are going to ring true across the board when we look at the big picture long term. We won't make any progress in 4 more years, that's for sure. It'll be status quo time, if best, at best. Otherwise, our economy could veritably topple without new production cycles and new ways of getting people jobs. They say that automation will wipe out 30% of the people making $80,000 a year right now. Those jobs are going to be gone in 10 years. 80% of the people making $20,000 a year, those jobs are definitely going to be gone. So we're going to be seeing a massive growing homeless population. And with Trump's newest plan to get the federal government involved in that, he's also a New World Order puppet. Instead of fixing problems, providing nice housing solutions, or better yet, just services for people in skid row conditions, Trump is going to be bringing in the federal FEMA program, and you'll see FEMA camps warehousing people like Hitler warehoused the Jews in Germany. David, I used to support Trump not after he cut food stamps 5.3 million. Exactly. There you go. And cutting food stamps was the worst thing because it's going to make a lot of people very upset. You know, it's ironic. People like Ocasio, they missed the boat on this because she said she wouldn't have even had a family life if she hadn't got food stamps. Well, Trump isn't cutting food stamps to the families, just individuals who don't work. And they have to be under 65 because if you're over 65, you get automatic food stamps for being old. Pretty much. Right now, food cards can pay anywhere from $40 to upwards of $400 for families of 4 kids. So it could go from $40 to $400 depending on your station in life. I've seen guys, old guys, walk into stores with the first day of the month in my area, and they take out their food card, their EBT card, they put it through, and I see the numbers that are right in front of them. They have like nothing left on their card after a $30 purchase. So it's almost like when a person gets that card, they've got to live for 30 days on $40. I mean, it's insane. So that's why I support the $500 a month plan. You know, the $500 a month plan has all the bells and whistles within the confines of our limited budget. Because I don't think the government can afford anything like Andrew Yang is offering. The double what I'm offering, the $1,000. I don't think he could do that. There wouldn't be enough money to cover all the people he wants to put out there with it. But yeah, the $500 a month is a way to liberate the population, to get us all the basics so that we can survive food-wise. And it can be done with an infrastructure bank solution. We can amalgamate our funds into one area, even buy off the FAFSA loans and put them under one tent at a fixed rate, so that we could even absorb student debt. You'll still have to pay it back, but all of your money will be going toward the principal, not the other way around, not just putting your money toward the interest. So let me see if I can do this. Yeah, it worked. Great. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap things up pretty soon here, but I just want to remind you what we have here. The infrastructure bank idea could get 2% loans to businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. That's one way to get money going in our economy. And the $500 a month program offers a chance for people to get out of debt rather quickly. It's that extra money that you need to kind of get ahead. This to any U.S. adult citizen who is not collecting Social Security or disability. This is going to eliminate the welfare program eventually. We could also begin the process of kind of getting everybody who is at that level able to live at that level with housing solutions too. Yeah, Trump's really bad. He doesn't have any real solutions. And I have a really attractive idea I'll talk about tomorrow night, a flat tax of 10% on anything over $50,000. That's a solution that could actually get people who are wealthy to invest in our country. And foreign governments could do the same. Foreign companies could come in and invest $50,000 and have it tax-free, which is very appealing. And then anything over that is just 10% gratis. No, I think you're being disrespectful, and I'm going to mute you for that. So when we look at these big plans, we have to ask ourselves, how do we implement them? What is it going to take? And the answer is a third party. These other parties just don't have the creativity to come up with anything new enough to get our country, rolling again. So that is the answer to this question, and I am definitely moving toward building this new America that I envision. And if you don't want to go with me on that, that's fine. I can understand you being reticent to see a better country. You'd want the same old thing deteriorating around you at all times, turning into a toxic cesspool. We had a person from New Delhi today who's lived here for 22 years, and he said this is starting to look like India. I agree. We're letting the third world drag us down, and Trump is the ringleader of this new world order takeover of our nation. So we've got to get realistic here and realize this guy is not good for the long-term projections for this nation. He may just turn us into the subsidiary of the global world authority, the people that own his debt notes. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Mr. Wright signing off. I'll be back tomorrow for Freedom Friday. Thank you. And I will be uploading that video tonight on my YouTube channel, David John Sponheim, on how to make lasagna, turkey lasagna. Take care.
My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good. Just turn my world around, cause you're the peace I find. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. To beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true.